Ready? Yep. Go ahead.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the government of the United States and of Florida,
the Constitution and the government of the United States and of Florida,
and the charter of the town of Southwest Ranches.
and the charter of the town of Southwest Ranches.
Vilma.
And will protect the rural, residential,
And I will protect the rural and residential,
agricultural, and equestrian character of the town,
agricultural, and equestrian character of the town,
that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
that I am duly qualified to
hold
hold
office
office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state
and the charter of the town of Southwest
and
Ranches.
the charter of the town of Southwest Ranches.
And that I will well and faithfully perform
And I will
well
well and faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of
mayor or council member
council member
upon which I am now about to enter.
upon which I am about now to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, I ask the board members from the Sunshine Ranches Homeowners Association to swear me in because they're such an integral part of my life here.
Chris Brownlow, longtime resident, honor of being president of the HOA. I'm here with my vice president and one of my board members, Danielle and Vilma. I definitely could not pass up this opportunity, and one of the reasons I so admire and respect David is, I think in a few words, which will make sense, he gets it. He gets it. Don't tread on me. He gets it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am blessed to have two of my three daughters here to swear me in this evening. Our third daughter is up in Orlando. She's due in about 4 days, so she was not able to make the trip, but she's here in spirit. So this is Tasha and Hannah. You've heard all about them, so now you get to meet them.
Okay. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States and the state of Florida,
of the United States and the state of Florida,
and the charter of the town of Southwest Ranches,
and the charter of the town of Southwest Ranches,
and will protect the rural residential,
and protect the rural residential,
agricultural, and equestrian
agricultural, and equestrian
character of the town,
character of the town,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution
to hold office under the Constitution
of the state
of the state
and the charter of the town of Southwest Ranches,
and the charter of the town of Southwest Ranches,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
the duties of mayor
the duties of mayor
upon which I'm about to now enter.
upon which I'm now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you both. Thank you all. Thank you all. I really appreciate that. It's been a journey, and this is very, this is very gratifying, but we got a lot of work to do, and so we'll get the council going, and we'll get to work. But thank you all for coming out. Really appreciate it. It's awesome. Thank you. All right, if we can please take our seats, we'll go ahead and get started in tonight's meeting. We actually have a couple meetings this evening. The first one will be the local planning agency, and then we'll go directly into our regular meeting.
Is Jim on the phone? No. Mayor, if you don't mind making a motion to excuse Jim Albritton for a prior family gathering?
Yep, let's call the roll first, and then we'll do that.
Chair Bright Cruz,
Here.
Vice Chair Kaczynski,
Here.
Board Member Albritton, Board Member Hartman,
Here.
Board Member Jablonski.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Right, if you please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When she marks the act, she should write
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, please.
that. Yeah,
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to
but that's why.
make a motion to excuse Councilman Albritton.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If we can please call the roll.
Board Member Albritton, Board Member Hartman,
Yes.
Board Member Jablonski,
Here.
Vice Chair Kaczynski.
Yes.
Chair Bright Cruz,
Yes.
motion passed.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so this calls to order the local planning agency. We have a couple of items. If we can please read item number 3, resolution number 3 into the record, please.
This is a resolution of the local planning agency of the town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, the LPA, recommending that the town council adopt the 5-year schedule of capital improvements for the fiscal years 2025 through 2029, providing for an effective date.
Do I have a motion on the item?
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, is there any public discussion on this item?
I'd like to bring your attention to the backup documents, page number 4, drainage, second paragraph. Begins, the town has adopted a comprehensive tertiary drainage master plan. That is incorrect. The tertiary master plan has always been a map for 20-some years that was supposed to be developed by the engineering department in conjunction with the drainage board. Has not been done. Instead, you have a conceptual plan, identifies the general pathways, swales and drainage easements. We had that since the day we became a town. We have never done a comprehensive tertiary drainage master plan that shows where the secondaries and finally goes into the C11. I would like for this council to finally take it upon itself, considering you have 3 former members of the drainage board which supported a tertiary drainage master plan, which was a map. Thank you.
Thank you, Newell. Any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment closed.
No, she doesn't need to call.
I will make a quick comment along those lines. I do appreciate what Newell is saying. There's a line there where you can go to a certain degree of specificity and basically put together the tertiary plan that Newell is talking about, property by property. But properties change over time, and the ability to maintain that is virtually impossible. And so, so what this plan does is it shows where the tertiary water should go, what direction it go, whether it should go at the front of the street, the back of the properties, those types of things. So it does provide the guidance that's needed for a tertiary plan, but to Newell's point, it does not actually go property by property exactly where that is. So I get his point, but I believe this is the best usable, workable plan that we can put together, and so I'm personally very comfortable with it, but I appreciate his point. Any other council comments on this, or board comments, excuse me? Seeing none, if we can please call the roll.
Board Member Hartman,
Yes.
Board Member Jablonski,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kaczynski.
Yes.
Chair Bright Cruz,
Yes,
motion passed.
very good. And then we have the minutes from October 26th of this year.
Motion approved.
Motion for second?
We have a motion and a second on that. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Nada.
Seeing none, is there any public additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, if we can please call the roll.
Board Member Hartman?
Yes.
Board Member Jablonski?
Yes.
Vice Chair Kaczynski?
Yes.
Chair Bright Cruz?
Yes,
Minutes passed.
excellent.
Motion to adjourn.
So we adjourn the local planning agency, and we will go directly into the regular meeting. If we can please call the roll.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Here.
Vice Chair Kaczynski?
Here.
Councilmember Albritton? Councilmember Hartman?
Here.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. If you please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Albritton.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Albritton. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, if we can please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton? Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent, thank you. All right, item number 3, the selection of a vice mayor. This is where I roll my chair back and
I'll make a motion for Councilman Hartman.
I have a motion for Councilman Hartman. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any debate on this? You want to bow out of this?
With the same ambivalence I accept.
All right, all right. So this is dangerous, but is there any public comment on this item?
Oh, boy.
Public comment closed. If we can please call the roll.
Mayor?
Yes.
If you don't mind, we need to read the reso into the record.
Oh, thank you,
Filling
Keith.
in.
Yeah, I might do that.
Thank you.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, appointing council member, should I say his name?
Hartman?
Bob Hartman.
Name
as
here.
the new vice mayor of the Town of Southwest Ranches and providing for an effective date.
Excellent. And if you can please call the roll.
Councilmember Hartman.
Can I abstain?
He's going to approve it.
Oh,
Gotta approve it.
Okay, yes.
Councilmember Jablonski.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz.
yes.
Motion passed.
Congratulations.
Last time for vice mayor for me.
Okay. All right. All right, public comment. Let me say a couple comments about public comment first is, as I said last time, this is a time for talking about what would make the town better. It's not a time for personal attacks one way or the other, okay? So let's keep it positive. All right.
Anyone else? We only have 3 tonight, Mayor, starting with Alejandro Yilo, followed by Marion Allen, followed by Dee Schroeder. And fourth is John Grotti, and that will be it.
Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. The reason we're here.
If you can just state your name
Oh,
and your
yeah.
address.
My name's Alejandro Yilo, and it's 4851 Southwest 188th Ave.
Thank you.
The reason we're here tonight, I'm here with my parents. We recently just purchased this property, actually to belong to somebody that worked here with you guys, with Melinda. I'm sure you guys know her. There is a part on the property that has a right of way. That's about, I think it's 50 feet in total, 25 kind of on our side, 25 on the other side. From what we've spoken to the city reviewers, we've spoken to them because we're planning to build another house on there, or remodel the existing one per se, but add some square footage to it. We were seeing if they're still going to be building a road, which was the initial plan, I think, a few years back on there. And from what we have understood, it's not really in the plans anymore, especially since we have a canal in the back and it's just lined with trees. So we wanted to see if the town could grant us access to those 25 feet that are on our side at least, so that we could take that into consideration when submitting the plans with you guys, because about 7 feet of the garage, it actually falls under those 7 feet, under those 25 feet that are yours right now. And yeah, we want to see what the possibility would be for you guys to grant that to us so that we could just take care of that and keep making the town better, of course.
Great, great, thank you. So the way it works is, thank you for bringing that. You can sit down. After it's over, we will address all
Oh,
the
okay,
comments
okay.
that are
All right,
made.
perfect.
Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Thank
we
you.
do have
Thanks
a
for
copy of
coming.
the plans if you guys do need any copies of anything as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Mary Ann Allen, followed by Dee Schroeder, and then final speaker is John Grotti.
Good evening, council members, Town of Southwest Ranches. I'm going to speak here on behalf of our Native American brothers and sisters, our Miccosukee and Seminole tribes. And what do you say, like, why is that coming up here? Well, we're on their land. Their bones are buried underneath our properties, as you well know. This was their land first, and they're still a generous, peace-loving people that have offered and extended us their hands. A little bit of history about the Native Americans, and I can speak on this because I've been studying it since the year 2000. I was adopted into the Salagi tribe as one of their grandmothers. I've been to numerous drummings. In fact, my Native American group opened up the Sunshine Ranches Equestrian Park. We blessed it with the Native American ceremonies. We opened up the first African American library with our songs and with our drummings. And we went to schools and did this for children with their studies. Since my Native American teacher left, I've been bereft, so I guess I'm the last one in this area. And I want to give you a little background on Native American history. Hundreds of years before the Mayflower landed, the Native American tribes were at war. And every death required a vendetta killing. And this went on for hundreds of years, until the great peacemaker, Dekanawida, was born. And he brought all the tribes together so that they could give up their vendetta killings, their revenge killings. And they created the 6 tribes of the Iroquois Nation, the Federation, which our own Constitution has borrowed heavily on their knowledge and wisdom. So speaking of their wisdom, the saying, bury the hatchet, comes from hundreds of years ago, where the 2 tribes that were warring would take their hatchets and they would bury them as a sign of peace between all of them. We have to realize that we're all neighbors here, and this election was a little heated and got a little ugly in places, and we have to remember, these were all our friends before the election, and we need to bury the hatchet now. No more vitriol, no more attacks on social media. It just drags the whole community down, and we're bigger than that. We have to realize that what we're facing with the incinerator is life-threatening to our future. And I just want to say, like the Native Americans say, even the bitterest enemies can find peace if they forgive and forget. Wado.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Ann.
Dee?
Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you, Dee.
I have a question. When we have a problem with a neighbor, I've been told by all of us that I can come to you and give you my complaint and you'll turn it in. Is this true or is it selective? That's my first question. And it's an important one because we have some really, really big violators in this town. And I don't think any one of yous want to go after these people. And that's not right, just because you're afraid. You need to make sure that everybody that comes to you with a complaint, because they're afraid to, and it's been done in the past, people have complained, and council has gone forward and tried to resolve it. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the election. And you're right, Marianne. There was a lot of garbage and lies that went around during this election. A lot of them. But I want you all to know, and this is on YouTube, so I think this is really great. You want to talk about social media. I want to know how many people actually watch this, and I'm going to take the time to find out. But I got a text message right after the election. Enjoy the next 4 years with smirks and smiles. You had no right to use my personal phone to get your kicks and your rocks off. None. And if it ever happens again that you use my phone, I'll follow up with something. You're under scrutiny. You're under a microscope. And you don't take your anger out and gloat on other people. I did nothing wrong. Oh, I was the opposition, wasn't I? Yeah. We know how you fly. I mean, I'm surprised you could even do that. You see, I seen you right after the election.
All right, D, please.
Freedom of speech, is it done?
It's not done, but I would
It's
like.
not done?
I would like to have a level of respect if possible.
It has to be earned, and it wasn't earned, and you know it. And we've had a lot of talks about getting your people in check. Let's see if you're going to live up to that. Sometimes we all make mistakes.
Thank you, D.
John Garate is the final speaker.
Fellas, how you doing? It's John Garate. I'm so glad these elections are over. Mayor, congratulations.
Thank you.
That was a rough one. I get it. It was a learning experience for me, but hold on. First of all, hi, Mommy. Love you. I will be home soon. Just a few comments I'm going to make here tonight, and you guys do your thing. But like we all live in the ranches, and we all have to deal with each other at some point or another. You know, this whole routine of, and I've said it many times, you know, putting your name on complaints and this and that, we got to move on from that. Like, I know I'm probably speaking on deaf ears, but that's no way to manage problems. You know how you manage problems? Going to the root of the problem and fixing it. Putting complaints, you're just getting legal cases involved. But that takes work, effort, and a combined effort from a council, town attorney, an administrator. The whole group's got to do it. I don't see it as a good practice. I think it tears neighbors apart. You know, on a positive note, you know, let's start the year, you know, with unison. Let's, you know, what better than an election? We aired all of our dirty laundry. My laundry's still in the streets, I think, but it's okay. We got to do better. You guys are going to hear this time and time again, not just from me. You have new residents, they don't know what time it is. We have old ones that do know what time it is. But as Mary Ann said, let's bury the hatchet, let's move forward. You know, we had a council meeting, I think a couple weeks ago, or I forget when it was, the last one, and there was a little bit of, you know, a board report was announced that wasn't maybe exactly what everybody thought, but you know what we did as a board? We spoke, we talked, we communicated. It's what you do. You know, is it always nice, warm and fuzzy? No, it's not. But you got to have unison. You got to have people that are able to work together and not just point fingers. So whatever we can do to work as a team, right? Steve, you can't solve anything on your own. We know that. Otherwise, we would be calling you on speed dial every 5 minutes. But the bottom line is we're all getting older, right? I'm 50. You guys are a little bit, have more miles than I do. But the more you, the older you get, you run out of patience, you know? And you want to be respected. You do have to earn it, though. So rather than me spieling, I'm going to let you guys do your thing. And let's look forward to a new year. Let's follow the state laws. There's a lot of things in the pipeline. I'm not going to take up my little 27 seconds to go into detail on anything. But let's follow state law. Let's not let home rule get to our heads and allow it to break state law. So with 15 seconds left, give you guys back the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Great, thank you. Appreciate the public comment. Board reports.
Mayor and Council, Harold Gumnitsky from representing the Zero Waste Advisory Board. So a couple of updates from last meeting we had. One, since we missed the September meeting, We have a new meeting, or our last meeting in December. Typically, we would have missed, skipped the December, but so we have on December 3rd, so anyone who can attend, please join us. We also, a couple updates. The quarterly meetings or quarterly events drop-offs at the barn, where you have, the various paper and other hazardous things. There's going to be it's really a new function here, a kind of reuse disposal bin there. So for something that we can perhaps reuse and avoid going into the landfills beginning with, so kind of aligns with our collective objectives of reducing the needs for incinerators and filling up our landfills. So keep a lookout for that in the barn. We're going to be working on the language, and we've already started on the language on the comp plan in terms of the solid waste. So hopefully have that pretty well solidified, this coming month, and if not, we'll continue to modify that. And then look at the scope for the consultant that we will be bringing on. There's some budget for making sure that scope's in line with focusing in at the town and the town objectives specifically. And then lastly, we'll be looking for, and always looking for, grants where there's federal monies to come out. Let's see where we can bring that to here to the Southwest Ranches to further education and what we're doing in Zero Waste Advisory Board. So thank you, and talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate the updates. Drop the mic. That's an entrance. That is an entrance.
On behalf of the Ed Board, I just wanted to make everyone aware we've got the news flash that the flamingos are going to start coming home to roost mid-January. So if everyone just be thinking about that, and if we have any volunteers out there, so we have some opportunity. There's some opportunities that are going to start coming up beginning of the year. We're going to try to use the Prime Volunteer app in order to bring in the volunteers and track all the volunteer hours. But if there are any high school students out there or college students that want to apply for the scholarship, if they can reach out to me or Deborah in Town Hall or anyone on the Ed Board, just be thinking they'll be starting mid-January. Thanks.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Debbie. Any other board reports? Of course, George. Come on up, man.
Why not? Why not? Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor. Congratulations, Bob, Councilman.
George.
Real quick, on behalf of the Astronaut Foundation, Southwest Ranches Park Foundation, I just wanted to announce the upcoming carnival. January 16th is going to be the first day, Thursday. The hours of the carnival are going to be Thursday and Friday, 5 to 10:30, Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 10 p.m., and Monday, 12 to 8 p.m. So we're looking forward to another great banner year. We're going to have food, fun, rides, etc. We're looking for vendors and stuff like that. People can find information on our website, swrcarnival or countryfair.com. Again, swrcountryfair.com. Go online. You can see the information, things going on, vendors and applications, etc. We're also going to be selling tickets on Eventbrite. You can log on there, buy pre-passes, advanced tickets on sale, etc. So again, looking forward to a great event. I want to thank the council. I saw that they were dumping some dirt out there today. I saw Lee Lester out there today. He was leveling it. The site looked great. I went by there today. So I'm excited about that. Looking forward to the event. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, George. Appreciate all your work on that.
Hi, I'm going to do the report for Richard. He's kind of a little under the weather tonight, but he still came.
Okay.
So this is for the Zero Waste Task Force,
Gotcha.
and then I'll give a little agricultural board report. Okay. So this is kind of important. Historically, trash, I'm Marianne Allen, right?
Yeah.
Historically, trash incinerators have used the planet's lungs, the water, soils, and people's lungs to filter PFAS, dioxins, furans, and greenhouse gases. Every incinerator and thermal technology company boasts about how state-of-the-art their technology is. But are they truly safe for the environment and thus human health? There are studies and new information coming every day, proving and attesting to how dangerous incineration and its byproducts are to the environment, human and animal health. At the last Zero Waste Broward Task Force meeting, we watched a South Florida PBS documentary produced by Rory Fieldman named We're All Plastic People Now. We learned from the movie that when incinerators burn plastics, even with the emission scrubbers, PFAS, which are forever chemicals, are pushed into the air, and it travels for hundreds and thousands of miles away from the source. Unsuspecting adults and children are breathing in microplastics, and it is shown that they are accumulating in our blood, lungs, heart, and brain, based on testimony by scientists that know what they are talking about, based on blood test results taken around the world. Can we afford to risk the environment and our health by building new incinerators in Broward and Miami-Dade counties? If you present the scientific data and facts to people, they will say no to building incinerators anywhere. Miami-Dade County passed a resolution yesterday banning the use of single-use plastics and styrofoam at all county-owned facilities, such as the seaport, airport, parks, and government buildings. This is a monumental victory for everyone in South Florida who is involved in the zero waste movement. This paves the way for every county and municipality in Florida to follow Miami-Dade County's move in banning the use of single-use plastics and styrofoam as government-owned properties and assets. We would like to thank all candidates who donated their campaign signs to Broward Clean Air and the task force campaign named Kids Art in the Park. These signs will be repurposed and reused for creating signs to bring attention to the voiceless birds, animals, reptiles, plant life, and the Everglades wetland ecosystems. We plan to have a media campaign as display the signs in classrooms in different cities and at the Zero Waste Forum on March 30th to April 2nd, and possibly the 5th at the Ann Kolb Nature Center in Hollywood, Florida. More details will follow this announcement. If you would like to attend and or sign up to speak at the forum workshops, please do so on our website, www.zerowasteforum.org. We are also seeking sponsors to help support this first-time zero waste event in the Fort Lauderdale area. The Zero Waste Forum is hosted by Race to Zero Waste in partnership with Broward Clean Air. Some members of the Zero Waste Broward Task Force will be assisting us with the planning and organizing over the next few months. Broward Clean Air recently participated in a week-long compost operations training course hosted by the Compost Research and Education Foundation in cooperation with the University of Florida and IFAS and the U.S. Composting Council. This was an intensive classroom, practical hands-on work, testing in large-scale commercial composting facility sites, visits in the Central Florida. Broward Clean Air is a member of the U.S. Compost Council and plans to become a member of Florida Composting Council chapter. The last thing we would like to request is for financial assistance and support from the town and the community at large. Our members' efforts and related expenses to oppose the building of new trash incinerators, education and outreach work in promoting and implementing zero waste programs, policies, initiatives, and investigating community and large municipal composting programs countywide throughout South Florida and here in our community has come from mostly out of pocket. To help us continue the work we are doing on behalf of the town, the community, and throughout South Florida, we are respectfully asking you to consider helping us by providing donations and funding to our fiscally sponsored nonprofit project. This is going to be at least a 3 to 5 year project, and we would appreciate everyone's support if you feel that we're doing a good job for the community in South Florida. We would be happy to discuss this with the town in further detail. All right.
Thank you.
So
Now, for the ag, I'll let you speak on it this time, but this is not really a board, so if you could in the future, just do that as part of public comment.
Oh,
I would
yes,
appreciate
I'd be
that.
happy to.
Okay, but go ahead this one time.
Okay, so I have some important information regarding manure. And this comes from the International Composting Forum, where we now realize that herbicides and pesticides are found in horse manure that lasts 3 to 5 years. Imagine how toxic that is. So that means if you're composting manure, it's going to take you that long before the herbicides come out. Who's responsible for these herbicides? Monsanto and the various companies. Bob Hartman spoke at length about our dogs dying of cancer from Roundup. And we need to take initiatives in this town to protect our animals from Roundup, from neighbors that and landscapers that use it willy-nilly, and they're literally killing our animals. So with the horses, how are they getting this herbicide into their intestinal systems? Through the grain. Most horse feed is made through the husks of wheat, the husks of soybean, and those are the most heavily sprayed parts of the plant. On the mill floor, those husks are swept onto the floor and they are swept into bins and sold to the horse industry where they basically eat poison. So this is like a public service announcement to all our people that are feeding horses non-organic sources. The other thing I wanted to talk about was our soil and how important having nutritious soil is. They are using biosludge, they are using biosolids all over the country. And you know what they're finding? It's not only poisoning the ground, it's poisoning the neighbors' animals because these biosludge and biosolids are full of toxins and poisons. So these are things that I'd like to talk further with the council about, but I really wanted to give you all an incredible thank you from our equine and our agricultural farms on your proclamation, on your establishing an agricultural liaison for the town, because you just saved farming and equine farms for the next 10 years. You saved it, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary Ann. All right, thank you. Board reports are closed. Council member comments.
I'll go.
Thank you.
Big surprise. First off, I'd like to congratulate the candidates who were just sworn in tonight, Mayor Steve,
Thank you.
Councilman Kaczynski, and Councilman Albritton. And of course, I want to thank, or rather congratulate the new Vice Mayor, Bob Hartman. Thank you, Bob. We did it without a coin toss or a card cutting.
You beat me to it.
We've progressed.
Somehow you always win the coin tosses anyway, Gary, so I don't know.
You know, it's all in the wrist action. What can I say? Anyway, just a few general announcements, and then I want to talk about something a little more serious. The DMV Flowmobile, I found out tonight, has been canceled until January. No reason given, unfortunately. So we're looking forward to it in January. We're going to have our silver anniversary, the town's 25th, on the 7th of June. At 10 a.m. it starts, and it's going to be held in Rolling Oaks and at the barn. As Mr. Morris said earlier in much more greater detail, the Carnival and Country Fair is going to be the 16th through the 20th in January. We also have Water Matters in Treetops Park. The town is really well represented there by December Loretano and Chris Brownlow, and that's going to be on the 8th of March. We have the December Holiday Light Contest, and we're coming very close to when it's due. I think it's the 12th, the 5th, sorry, of December, when all the entries have to be in. And we have Hazmat at the Barn coming up on the 11th of January. So in the drug prescription drop-off, shredding, get rid of all your old electronics, paint, stuff that you don't know what to do with, half-empty paint cans, whatever. On a more serious note, something I want to talk about, and that deals with campaign signs that went out. I would like to have Keith draft an ordinance, resolution, whatever he feels it should be, that no campaign signs can go out until after qualifying, which would be in June, according to Steve. Can you chime in on that, on the timing of it?
So just for the record, Councilmember Jablonski called me during the last election cycle and said the signs are going out earlier and earlier. What's going on? And I said, well, partly because the language in the current code speaks about it can go out after the primary, but it didn't define which primary they could go out on. So as a result, people put them out the minute the primary election was over, thinking that was the primary it was referring to. and he responded to me that in the town, they don't qualify until a certain date. So why would they put out signs before they were legally allowed to qualify for election in the town and certify that they were qualified? So I said, well, for you to amend the code, you would need an ordinance to do so. So what he's asking, if there's council support, to amend the code to say that signs cannot go out until after the qualification date in June.
I 100% agree that the signs went out way too early. It just, frankly, it just trashes up the town for almost a year. We trashed up the town, which I think doesn't do anybody any good. And frankly, the longer they're out there, the more it just becomes noise, and you don't see them all anyway. So, but it used to be that it was 60 days prior to the general election, which all of our elections are always a general elections. They're not associated with any primaries or anything like that. So that would be the wording that I'd like to see in there. 60 days before the general election is when you should be allowed to put signs out. I think that's my opinion.
Isn't that the way things were?
It is the way things were, yeah.
They were, and then we changed it.
Yeah, I
When I
think that
brought
was a
those
bad
changes.
change that we.
Yeah, I originally brought that up, and Keith had an instance where, I forgot, you said something that,
That's not how the code currently reads. So obviously,
Right.
however you want it to read is fine.
the 60 days is okay.
Are they qualified by that
Yeah,
60 day?
absolutely, yeah.
So there's no issue with that as long as they're qualified.
All right, and then I'll amend what I just said.
Okay,
To the
great.
60-day.
Are you okay with that?
I think that once you're qualified, you should be able to put it out. And the Supreme Court has held that way too. U.S. Supreme Court has held that way.
Well,
It's protected speech.
Yeah, but it's just 6 months of,
it is.
6 months
It's
of
6
sign-
months of signs going out.
Yeah, and-
Qualification is in June, right?
Yeah.
Qualification is in June. So
5
that's
months.
June,
5 months.
July, August. It's an extra 3 months of the signs sitting out
It'd
there.
be 5 months total.
And you're out campaigning during that whole time, and while you're out talking to folks, hey, can I put a sign out? If I'm in a losing vote on that, then I'm a losing vote on it.
I see your logic, but for as long as up until this election, it's always been 60 days.
So as for,
And then
It
this
was
is the
a
first time
violation
it
of the
wasn't
Supreme Court's
60 days.
precedent.
yeah.
And it's always worked well.
But it's a
prior.
violation of the Supreme Court's precedent.
Can we compromise?
That's why I said, once you sign that paper,
Well, I mean, from what David
Well,
is
he's
saying.
saying no
he's saying
compromise.
there is, yeah.
It's a Supreme Court decision.
I don't know, let's do a little research on it and see what we can do, okay? Thank you.
So
Just a question about it, though. How long after Election Day are you allowed to keep your signs up? Because
so
they're all over town right now
It-
still.
It's 10 days.
10 days.
Is what the code says. I've spoken to certain candidates, including John, who has some signs up, and he said the residents who have them up won't take them down. It's not the candidate's job if they're giving someone a sign and that person refuses to take it down. At that point, it's a code violation. One of your few proactive code violations is signage. So it would just take you all, to say we're way after 10 days at this point, enforce your code and remove them.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that, I just got a call this afternoon, actually, that one of my signs is up out there, and I had thought, actually, within 48 hours, I thought I had taken all my signs down. So if there's an errant sign out there of mine that's out there somewhere, please let me know, because my intention was to have them all down within 48 hours, and I thought I had, but apparently not. So please give me a call if you see one.
But I put one up for the next cycle.
All right, I think we totally got off track with your comments.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was all I had.
Is that it? Okay. Thank you, Gary. Who'd like to go next? David?
Hi, folks. Thank you for everybody coming out tonight. Thank you for re-electing me to the seat. It's a big honor to be up here and to be sworn in tonight. It really, really meant a lot to me. I'm going to begin. Rural Arts and Design Board has the calendars available, $5, and they will run out. So if you want one, get one before they run out. Only $5, and it's from the Rural Public Arts and Design Board, which is the first advisory board for the town. Good news issue. Let me find this. One of my constituents live in my district. Her name is Jenna Eiton. Her mother, Debbie Eiton, lives on West Palomino. Now, got some good news that I'm gonna read the message from Debbie. So we can finally share with everyone tonight as we celebrated Jenna. It has been something that she has kept under wraps for a bit, but she will be leaving in December to attend Ross School of Veterinary Medicine in St. Kitts. She was blessed not only to receive acceptance here, but to a second school as well, and decided that the accelerated program they offer is what she wanted. We are so proud of her. The process has been stressful and lengthy, but she was determined. We are all so excited for her next steps and for her choice. Jenna Eiton, we cannot wait to be able to call you Dr. Jenna Eiton in the spring of 2028. Thank you for our friends and family for your support and encouragement in her pursuit. To this point, we are excited to be able to visit her in another new and exciting place. Please keep her in your prayers as she not only starts school, but gets to integrate into island life and a whole new culture. This is great news. Another one of our residents going into veterinary practice. It's great. And then last, as Mary Allen had specified, I passed these out to various people. Yesterday, Miami-Dade Commission voted to limit plastics on county property. And I would like to see if the council would be interested in joining a similar ordinance for us. And in summary, what this ordinance does is, to the greatest extent, that term is the greatest extent possible, that any concessionaires doing business on what would be town property entered after the effective date of this resolution preclude the concessionaires or the users of the property from distributing single-use plastics and polystyrene items to consumers in such form of included but not limited to wrappers, straws, containers, utensils, bottles, coffee lid stirrers, and bags. I think this not only embraces the zero waste initiatives that we are supporting, but I think it's the right thing for our town in fighting the incinerator and promoting more recycling and doing away with single-use plastics and styrofoam. So if with the consent of everybody here, maybe ask Keith to draft something up, but the language has already been done.
David, would this affect something like Publix?
No, only town property. Can only do it on town property.
When you say town property, you mean any property in the town of Southwest Ranches, or
Anything the town owns. We can't.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
Only parks,
Gotcha.
the preserve, town hall, anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I like the idea, but Russell, maybe you can give us an idea. And it's great to go out and create an ordinance, but I want to make sure you are going to put a plan together on how we would execute on this. So whenever we pass this ordinance, which I totally stand behind, you can let us know how you want to implement it.
Certainly. Yeah, good point. Good point. Anything else, David?
That wraps it up.
Okay.
That wraps it up for me. Thanks.
I'll go. I'll be brief. Yep.
All right. Thanks.
First, congratulations, Mayor, Council Member, and Council Member Albritton. These folks took a lot of grief, a lot of guff for standing behind what we've been standing behind for years, keeping our town rural, okay? A lot of people think that we're too aggressive on our code enforcement. It's usually the people that violate the code and lose at either a code enforcement hearing or in court. They're the ones who want to always change our code. One of the other things that the residents passed was Amendment 5 to our charter. Amendment 5 says
that we really can't make anything proactive unless it's a vote of all 5 of us. So we really have to stand behind changing something from being reactive today, which means that somebody has to call in on it, to proactive, where the Code and Compliance Department can go out and cite people without a complaint. Now, this didn't happen in this last election cycle. These things have been bubbling up now for years. 3-4 years ago, we had some meetings to discuss a nursery ordinance, which we would have created a lot more code if we would have passed it. But we got the message from the residents on that's not what people want here. They want to be left alone. The next piece of it that came along about, I don't know, a year and a half ago was some new enforcement of code on people planting hedges in their swales and some other things that went along with that. We had probably 100 people show up when that was on the agenda to discuss. And the message was pretty much the same: leave us alone. So given the fact that 2 out of the 3 were at 66 to 33 in their favor in terms of the voters, and one was 60-40, which still is pretty darn good, I have a feeling things aren't going to change very much. Our goal has been to keep taxes down. We've done that. As long as I've been on the council, we haven't been raising taxes. The services of the town increase. We've been doing a little more every year because as the tax base of the town continues to go up based on new houses being built or construction in general, that brings the town some more money to spend on things. We had nothing going on. We don't even have much in terms of parks 10 years ago. We had the barn, we had the equestrian park, now we have other parks you can visit. All of that is due to living within our means, the values of our homes coming up, taxes going up for those who add to their homes or build new homes. But we've been trying to keep things the way they are the best we can. It is a very conservative council. We don't go out and create rules just for the sake of rules. That's been pretty obvious this whole time. Little tweaks like we were talking about here on signs, I look at that as a beautification effort. Once those signs go up all over town, it's a horror story. But in any case, I'm really proud to serve with these guys. I really look forward to the next 2 years and going on with them because we've been keeping things rural here as long as I've been on the council. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, just a few comments. So, first of all, I just want to say that from the election, it's an honor. It's an honor to serve as your mayor. I don't say that lightly. I say that from the bottom of my heart. That the trust that you put into me, just the ability to represent this beautiful place, to be the mayor of this town, and to be your representative is something that is incredibly important to me. I'm incredibly thankful that you would trust me that way. And I do feel like we're all neighbors, we're all friends. Yep, we get dusted up when a election comes around, and that's okay. That's all right. That's how we work things out. I learned through an election process. I talk to a lot more people during an election process than I do normally because everybody is coming up and wants to express, and I like that. It's difficult. It's a challenge. It takes over your life for 6 months, for sure, but it's a good process in the end. I'm going to say the same thing I said 4 years ago when I became mayor, and that is I didn't pursue this office to be the mayor of just those that voted for me or supported me. I pursued this to be the mayor of everyone. And I am not concerned. In most cases, I don't know who you voted for anyway. But in some cases, maybe it's a little obvious. But that doesn't concern me one way or another. I'm here to represent you, and I am here to be your voice and to represent you as best I can. And I appreciate that. It is truly an honor. It's something I'm absolutely thankful for. and myself and my family are blessed for the faith and trust that you've put into me. So thank you so much. I also want to just congratulate David on his win and Jim on his win as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think we've got a council that is all rowing in the same direction, and that is something that I am also very thankful for, that we're able to accomplish a lot, move forward in so many different ways, because we're all guided by the same principle that we want to preserve the rural lifestyle here, and that's where we start with all of our decisions one way or another. And Bob, congratulations on the vice mayor. Appreciate that. Yeah. So thank you for that, and I look forward to 4 years of working towards those same goals. Speaking of some of the things that I heard about through residents as we've gone through the election process, one of the ones that stood out that heard about a number of times had to do with the condition of our roads, specifically potholes and things like that. And this is why I say, there's a degree to where elections are good, because we hear about these things that otherwise we may not hear about so much. I think we've got to do something there. I don't think business as usual is going to be adequate for our roads. I think that we need to step up the cycle for doing the potholes. I think we need to look at the potholes in a different manner, that rather than, certainly if there's an isolated pothole here and there, you just fill it. But if we start to see an area that is consistently having potholes, and as soon as we fix it, they're back again the next rain, I think we need to make sure that we are cutting that whole section of road out and redoing that whole section, because we do have some areas in town that absolutely our residents are getting very frustrated with, that they're not being repaired fast enough, and when they are repaired, they're not lasting. So I would like to just get a consensus. I don't think we need a vote, but I would like to get a consensus to give administration direction that to be more aggressive, knowing that we may go over budget based on the budget that we just put in place, and we're not thinking about this. We may go over budget. I don't want to go crazy over budget, but I think we might go over budget to facilitate this. But frankly, I think it's something that is front and center for our residents, and not only that it's annoyance, but in some cases it's a safety issue as well.
Mayor,
Yeah.
if I may, I spoke to town administrator about that exact same problem several months ago, and having done a lot of parking lots in my lifetime and patched my own potholes and stuff like that, the biggest difference I noticed was that they're doing cold patches. And then the cold patch, if you have very little traffic, will hold for a couple of years. But if you have a high traffic area, it doesn't. And I think we need to change the methodology, which will cost more, to a hot patch system, and where it goes out larger, where you cut a square as opposed to just filling in a round hole. I mean, there's a whole Rod could probably, talk 5 hours on how it gets done, correctly on something like that. And I think that's where we need to move to. And there is a bigger price tag, with that, but that's the kind of direction I think we need to give our town administrator on that, to be honest. Okay. I think that will solve a lot of the problem up ahead concerning the patching.
Right. I'll just jump in there. I do want to hear what everybody's thoughts are on it. I will say that that makes sense to me. I don't propose to be an expert I don't even propose to know what I'm talking about when I talk about fixing the potholes. I have not done that personally. But that sounds reasonable. But to me, that sounds like a good step in the right direction. It does not sound like it would go far enough for me, because I think there's some of these areas that we're just fixing now that we really need to just do the whole section of the road and call it a day. But I'm not an expert at it, so I would turn it over to administration to definitely pick up on what Gary's saying, but perhaps take it a step further as well.
Is there a possible hybrid solution here?
Yeah.
So if Tisdor is scheduled to repave that road next year, I don't want to put a lot of money into hot patching. I'd rather just do it like we do today to hold it up for another year or so. But if Tisdor is years out, then I like the idea of doing a more permanent patching job on them.
I actually spoke specifically to Rod about that thought, what are we going to do? And what I would rather do, I don't think we can put it off for another year or two, frankly, Bob. I think that this is a real frustration for our residents.
That's not what I mean, Steve. What I'm saying is, say, my street
Yeah,
was going to be paved next year as part of Tisdor.
yeah.
Cold patch it this year, because next year it's going to be redone anyway. If your street is in for 3, 4, 5 years, then the hot patch makes sense because you want that staying power. You don't want to be repatching it every year, every other year, which is what we're doing.
I get, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. You're right. And I guess what I'm saying, what I talked to Rod about was, if it's an isolated pothole here and there, I agree with you 100% with what you're saying. I'm with you. But there's certain areas where that's not the case, where we're constantly going out. Every time there's a rain, we may not be patching the exact same hole, but we're going to the same area and we're patching holes again. And what I'm saying is that, what I talked to Rod about is that if that's probably a road that's coming up, as you're saying, probably coming up on Tisdor. And what I would rather do is, let's look at Tisdor. Maybe our prioritization is not exactly right. And maybe that road needs to be included sooner in our next Tisdor round. And so that's what I asked him to take a look at.
Good.
Because I don't, like you, like I think you're going to, well, I don't want to throw good money after bad.
Right, exactly.
Right. So maybe if we are not so tied into our Tisdor schedule that we can attack these worst case parts of town, that'll work as well. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It just kind of ties into it to a bit. As you, on Luray Road, as it comes to Appaloosa, for years and years, that from Appaloosa to Volunteer has been all taken care of. Well, we found out last year when we had that development on this property at Luray and Appaloosa, the southeast corner that recently was developed with homes, we learned that road of Luray that goes east of Appaloosa was actually initially planned to connect all the way to Flamingo, but it's not going to happen. But half of that road belongs to Southwest Ranches. The other half is Cooper City. And that road is always filled with potholes, like continuously. Every rain, there's another pothole. And they're not little ones. These are pretty big. And I don't even think that road is even incorporated into the schedule of all the roads. That's something that really needs to be looked at.
Okay.
But in the concept, I agree with what you want to put forward with. I really do. It's a good idea.
Great. Thank you. So I'd like to make sure we move forward with that and maybe come back with a plan on how we want to do that, incorporating all these ideas we've thrown out tonight.
We'll definitely do that, Mayor. for
Thank
sure.
you. A couple other items. You all, thank you for coming out. Thank you for your patience till I got to you to answer your questions. So, and Lisa, I see you're out here as well. Thank you for coming out as well. Very similar issue to what we just heard from these folks sitting in front of you. So, I believe, and I've expressed this the last time, Lisa, we were talking about your particular situation. I believe that there are rights of way in our town that the town owns that not only does the town not have any use for, but frankly, I think it's better for our town not to even have those right-of-ways. I think it's better to give them back to the residents if they'll take them, because what that does is once we give it back, and what I'm specifically talking about is not horse trails or anything like that. What I'm specifically talking about is road right-of-ways where Sterling Road is a great example further west, where it's basically a 4-lane road going west through town, which is never going to be built. And frankly, I don't want it to ever be built. And so let's give back those right-of-ways so that we can ever build it out, right? And plus it gives the property back to the residents, increases their property size, will affect your taxes. Your taxes will go up a little bit because you get a little extra property to pay taxes on. But I'm sure, the day you sell it, you'll be glad you got it. So So from a philosophy standpoint, I absolutely agree with you. I'd like to see specifics on your property there so that we can take a look at it, because that is, what I'm saying is a general rule, a general philosophy for me, but I'm sure there are some particulars where that may not apply. So I don't want to take that as a blanket for every right-of-way in the town. But I do think, from a general standpoint, that is my philosophy. I don't know, I'd like to hear, while I'm talking about it, I'd love to hear from the other councils, see what their thoughts are. Lisa, in your particular case, I would, we've talked about this a while. You have been super patient. I thought it would be a very simple process to move that over to you. I've been since schooled on that a little bit, and unfortunately that's not the case. We need to go through the whole process, the normal process for doing that. Now, there are some fees involved in your particular case because of everything that's gone on there and the history in that. I don't want to set a precedence for that, and this is not what this is about, setting a precedence. But I personally would like to recommend that we look into waiving those town fees that we associate with that for Lisa's particular situation, because that really saved everybody problems, being able to solve it. Saved us problems, saved her problems, so it worked out better for everybody. So,
Do we need to vote on waiving the fees?
I think I don't know, do we, well, I'd like a little discussion on it, make sure that there's a consensus to do that.
I'd love to have more information on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't really looking for a decision, but I did want to throw it out there so you all could do your research, talk to, either Jeff or Russell on it, and make sure that you're okay with it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm certainly fine with it. I think it's the right thing to do. So for those two things, Lisa, we're going to move forward with yours. Russell, if we can take a look at that, and maybe you can get a consensus on that, and we can bring it back and do a finalized vote on that. And you all, if you can, let's move forward and take a look at the plans and see what the situation is there. Why don't you come up to the mic just for a second?
To start the process, like to review those plans, would we submit them just as if we were submitting for a new construction, just subject to approval? Because that's what we got recommended.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Keith.
So there's actually a process in every municipality, not just the town. It's called a road vacation process or right-of-way vacation process. In that case, you file an application with the town for the vacation that you're seeking. You work with the town engineer. He's back in the right if you have not met him yet, who reviews the plan. They generally will make a recommendation with the town planner to the council. The item is then scheduled to advertise, comes before the council at a scheduled meeting. It requires a unanimous vote of the council for approval. If the council approves it, when dealing with a vacation, you get 50% of the property that's being vacated, and your neighbor, if it's between two, gets the other 50%, and that's how it works.
Okay, perfect.
Okay?
All right, thank you, guys.
Great, thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
All right. And
By the way, Newell inadvertently shouted out something that's correct, so I just want to say it. There are some right-of-ways that are platted right-of-ways, and that is that someone dedicated the property on their plat through a platting process that involved Broward County. If it is a platted right-of-way, once you're done with the town, you also then have to go to Broward County to seek a vacation. It is a very expensive process. I think last time I checked, it was like $19,000 to file to the county to vacate a piece of property. So just so that you know, it may not just involve the town, but you'd have to look at and see how that dedication was originally occurred.
thank you, Keith. Thank you, Newell. So it is a process, but we can help pursue it anyway. A couple other items that I just wanted to touch on before I close out here. One is Keith and I had a great meeting the other day, and there are some legal issues with residents that are going on, and it's my goal as it's always been, to try and resolve those things outside of any legal proceedings. Some of them have already started that way. But I always believe that if we can get together in a room, I always want to try and resolve it outside of that first. So I'm not going to go into any details this evening, but I did want to just let you all know that that is something that I'm working on, and I really appreciate Keith's input on it.
I don't know if you want to raise it now because you suggested it. The mayor suggested we do have a couple items in litigation. One, the town actually won today. I sent you a copy of the court order. But the mayor has aptly requested, and we supported, a shade session to go over some of the litigation. By law, we would have to announce the date tonight of when it is, and then we'll notice accordingly. And I asked Russell, he said he had maybe pre-spoken to some of you about the dates, but he wanted to confirm on the record. We can wait till it's legal portion, but I just wanted to mention it.
Okay. Let's do it now, I guess. We're already talking about it.
We had talked about a couple of dates. I know that there's a conflict, at least for one council member, but I think the week of December 2nd, possibly the December 3rd or the 4th might be a possibility. So if everybody could check their schedule and see if December 4th, we would probably do it at 6 o'clock or 6:30 or 7. I mean, whatever's. I know
What day of the week is that?
The 4th is a Wednesday.
Okay.
What time would you propose starting? I'd rather start earlier rather than later.
Well, the only thing is, Councilmember Kaczynski, I know, works down in Miami. It's difficult for him to get here at 7, before 7 o'clock, so obviously, I would keep that in mind, but 6:30.
What day of the week is it?
Tuesday's the 3rd.
Tuesday's the 3rd, Wednesday's the 4th.
Are you good with 6:30? Can you do that, David, or does it need to be 7?
Tuesday's is zero waste, yeah, so.
Yeah, I think Wednesday's better.
We don't have anything on the 4th. That's why that was one of the dates that we were looking at.
I'm checking my calendar right now.
Okay.
I printed it out. I've gotten a flurry of trial orders, so rather.
All right, check your calendar, and we'll get back to that
I know,
legal
I'm looking at
comment.
it right now.
Or we could do also the 5th.
The Thursday night?
Thursday the 5th, right, there's nothing going on as far as advisory boards or homeowners association groups.
I have something on the
I'm sorry, the 4th then is
Okay.
is the preferred day. Yeah, we kind of need the attorney.
I could sense that.
Only the 3rd or the 4th?
The 4th, the 3rd
Just a
is
second.
zero waste advisory board meeting. So the 4th is what we're looking at.
Okay, yeah, come on up.
I know, but you guys like to be.
Sorry, we're just new to all this. I wanted to ask if our neighbor, since we said it would be split 50-50, if our neighbor, say he doesn't want to receive his part because he's going to have to pay more taxes or whatever and whatnot, could we acquire the whole part? No, only our half.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I will move on to the next one. David, let us know when you find that.
I can do the third, 4th, or the 5th. I can do any
Okay,
of those.
let's do the 4th. Let's do the 4th.
At 6:30, is that what we're saying?
6:30 is fine.
Okay, so we, set.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. The last thing I wanted to touch on is I'm going to be asking you all to take a look at potential expense associated with putting together a plan for Circle S and their issue that they have with cars going in through their entrance and then doing just creating havoc pretty much in their community. And so they've come up here a few times. They have the safety grant that they're working on, and we've talked about that. We talked about the LPR camera and all that. That's all good. That's all set. But it's still, while it would deter to a degree the traffic coming in and going out, it would certainly not stop it. And the more we talked about it, the plan that I think makes the most sense is potentially looking at doing a U-turn prior, not trying to stop the U-turn, but actually allowing the U-turn before you even get to Circle S, between Tom Thumb and the Circle S entrance. Can it be done there? I don't know. I'm not saying that it can, I'm not the engineer. But there are some things there that would indicate that perhaps it can. And so what I would like to do is make you aware that this is something that I believe we should be looking at, and because it not only helps Circle S, but it helps, frankly, our resident. I think we've all seen through some of the floods and things, the cars that are nosed down into the the swales over there because they didn't realize that it's a pretty steep drop off there. Anyhow, so there's a lot of things going on there that I think would be beneficial if it can be done. And so to get the engineers out there to do that is going to be an expense to take a look at it. And because it certainly it helps Circle S, hey, they're part of our town, certainly. But it also helps a lot of other residents as well. And so to me, I think that is something that is justified from a town's view. It's been a headache that we've had there for as long as we've been a town. And if we can potentially get a resolution here, I'd like to move forward with that. So I wanted to bring it up in my comments. I don't know, do we have a number on that, Russell?
We did receive a proposal from one of our continuing services engineers that specializes in traffic, and that number was approximately $10,000.
So it's about $10,000 for them to take a look at it. And
Just to plan it.
yeah, basically to a feasibility of whether it can be done and put together the basic plan for it. So I wanted to just get a consensus there if you all are comfortable with that, or if there's if it takes more discussion.
It's fine. I'm fine.
I'm good.
You want to put it prior to the entrance?
Yeah.
Going south. on
Going
the-
south. So it would be between Tom
I'm
Thumb
looking
and
at
the
it right
entrance.
now. I'm looking
Yeah.
at it right now on BCPA.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks feasible all along there, but
Yeah.
question of backing up traffic.
There's some issues with it, for sure. That's why I'm very tentative in my words, to check, see if it can be done. I'm not,
Should
to
we
me,
consi-
if it can be done, it would be an awesome solution.
Yeah, the
But-
challenge I see with a left-hand or a U-turn spot there is the challenge they have with trucks coming in. So is it possible that we could also look at maybe a circle there? Because we've talked about circles in other places. Maybe this is the place to put one.
We could certainly add that as an idea. Well, a circle, you mean at
Traffic
the
circle.
entrance? Where?
I'm not sure where.
Yeah, I don't,
Maybe at theirs where one leg of the circle goes into them, the other one goes Dykes Road, the other one two directions are Dykes Road.
I don't think we have enough bandwidth.
yeah. Anyway, let's
mean,
not work
with-
it out here
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Let's not work it out here tonight. The idea is to let the
Yeah,
engineers
I'm looking
know.
I'm looking at their entrance, and it doesn't look like we
Yeah.
have enough right away.
It gets narrower and narrower
Right,
as it
not
goes
enough right
goes
away.
down there. Yeah, so.
On something like that. I think, we could give up some town right away maybe,
That's what I was thinking with the circle.
that's, and pave it for
Yep.
around to go for traffic to flow around it, and because we obviously need a de-acceleration lane, stacking lane, for something like that.
There's, like I say, the engineers
It's
need
not
to
a-
figure
it's
that
not-
all stuff out.
It's not a bad idea. I just see,
overpass.
how it'll work.
There's some challenges with it. That's the point. That's the point. This is not a slam dunk, but I think it's something worthy to take a look at. And if the engineers can come up with something that works, I think it would solve a lot of problems for a lot of people. So, all right. So we have a consensus. Gary, are you okay with pursuing that with the engineers?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have consensus. All right. So with that, I will conclude my comments.
All right, just to be clear, we're not to exceed $10,000?
Not to exceed 10,000.
Okay.
Yes.
Certainly, it is just over 10,000. I just don't remember the exact dollar amount. Can we say not to exceed 11?
Okay. Are we okay with not to exceed 11,000? David?
It's fine.
Gary?
Okay.
All right.
It's fine.
All right. All right. 11.
Do you want to open up to the public or anything like that, or no?
Well, it'll come back. It'll come back. If we do anything with it, it'll come back as an item. I mean, I don't have, yeah, go ahead, Newell. It's not really a discussion item, but
Newell Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue. No, this is I told you so item. When we were doing Circle S, and the traffic pattern. We were supposed to put in, but you decided not to, a U-turn lane right there. Well, and that was going to be their expense. And you decided not to do that. And now you're going to spend $11,000 of taxpayer money to do something that Circle S was supposed to do in the beginning. So therefore, it's an I told you so, because we sat here and told you, and they even agreed to do it, but it wasn't put in the final agreement. So, I told you so, and others stood up here and told you so. And now you got to do it, our taxpayer money, for their benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, Newell. Any other comments? Thank you. Comments closed. All right, so I think we have direction on that. All right, thank you. And that concludes my comments. Legal comments.
Sure, Mayor. First and foremost, congratulations to yourself, to Councilmember Kaczynski, and to Councilmember Albritton on your reelection by an enormous percentage vote. Congratulations. As relates to Councilmember Albritton, just for the record, he went away on a pre-planned family trip, actually a wedding for his daughter, for the record. He was sworn in after the vote was certified, so he is an acting council member, in case anyone was curious. Although when he comes back, he may want his family to be at a post swearing in as well. So I just wanted to mention that. As you mentioned, but I'm required to restate it, on December 4th at 6:30 p.m., we will be having a shade session to discuss some open litigation items with the council. A court reporter will be present. It will not be open to the public, and it will be to give updates on cases and to see if there's any potential on settlement on any of those cases. As I mentioned earlier, the Court of Appeals, in a very long opinion, found in favor of the town on as it relates to home-based businesses. I sent you all a copy of that order earlier today. What that basically said is, although home-based businesses are allowed, part of the statute, if those businesses affect the lifestyle of the community and impacts more than just that individual home, that it goes outside of that home, that the town can regulate and can prohibit that business from occurring. And that's from our Court of Appeals, so it's a very strong opinion in our favor. Other than that, Mayor, no further comments. I just hope you all and all our residents have a happy Thanksgiving holiday.
Thank you, Keith. Administrative comments?
Do have a few comments. I also want to extend my congratulations to you, to Councilmember Kaczynski, and also to Councilmember Albritton on your reelections. Look forward to working with you all and advancing your legislative priorities over the next few years, so looking forward to that. I also wanted to announce that after a very thorough and exacting process, I am pleased to announce that I have finally made a selection to fill the Deputy Town Administrator position. So I'm very excited about that. And I would like to introduce the public to Catherine Sims, who's sitting in the second row as our Deputy Town Administrator. Catherine has extensive municipal experience and previously served the cities of Manalapan, Oakland Park, Lighthouse Point, and Cooper City, where she served as Assistant City Manager and Interim City Manager. I'd like to thank the selection committee comprised of Emil Lopez, Rod Lay, and former Town Administrator Andy Burns, who is here tonight, that assisted with the selection process, and I want to extend and welcome you aboard, Catherine. So. Yeah, but we can't make her fall. Catherine, I don't know if you wanted to say anything tonight. If you do, you can have the floor for a quick minute. Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for all of your warm welcomes. I'm very excited to be here. Your staff already is amazing. The residents I've met so far are wonderful, and I think that we're going to have a good future. And I'm so excited to work with Russell, too, so it's a good thing. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you and welcome.
Welcome.
I have a few other items, Mayor, if you'll indulge me. At the October 24th meeting, council provided direction to spend the ARPA proceeds received in the amount of $3,985,292 on the projects outlined on the spreadsheet that we had displayed on the screen. So inadvertently, we did forget to include costs in the amount of $290,963.37 that were associated with the design that had already been completed for the Southwest Meadow Sanctuary building. So I just wanted to kind of go over that again tonight, get it on the record so that it's very clear, there's no mistake as to what was basically approved. So we're going to put this on the record. Exhibit A, which is going to be the first thing that you're going to see, is what was displayed that night. And then Exhibit B, we'll talk about the delta or the change from Exhibit A. So just give me a second. Of course, the computers, I'm usually the one that's having the issue. Oh, here we go. Thanks, Dan. All right, so this is Exhibit A. Can you zoom out of it a little bit? Yeah, thanks. I don't know if you can really see it, but Exhibit A was everything that was discussed that night, and it included projects such as the town hall kiosk that had been completed already, the LED monument sign, the signs for $131,440, the sanctuary park, which at that time was listed as $1.982 million, and that included the ad alternatives totaling $332,000 and the base bid of $1,850,000, which led to a subtotal of $2,182,000 less the $200,000 FERDAP grant that we had received. So for a total ARPA allocation of $1,982,000. This is where we erred because we didn't include the design cost. So I'm going to speak to that on the next exhibit. We also had the Dykes Road piping project for $515,215. The Town Hall Voice over IP phone service project that was completed at $65,441. Town Hall Internet fiber at $49,500. And we also had the project for the Town Hall multipurpose storage building in the back, where $28,000 of ARPA proceeds were going to be utilized to help fund that project, which the total project cost was $50,000. So the difference of that we were going to grab from unassigned fund balance or reserves. We also identified that we wanted to include the Green Meadows Drainage Project at alternatives 1 through 3, which totaled at the time $1,209,989. So if you recall, that project also was basically scheduled for tonight, so we'll talk about that item and how this impacts that item. But we were basically, with the ad alts for the Green Meadows Drainage Project, the total of the ad alternatives was $1,376,200, but we had $166,000 of surplus from the FDEP grant. So we were looking to utilize $1.2 million of ARPA funding to finish that project. And that was the total allocation of the $3,985,000, and that's how we explained it. So now if you look at Exhibit B, you'll see that we have now taken out, so we still have the town hall kiosks because that project was completed. We have removed the LED monument signs that was previously approved utilizing ARPA funding. We will now utilize unassigned fund balance to pay for that. And I'll explain why we had to take that one out. But basically, it's all attributable to accounting for the $290,000 for the design costs. So now we have included the design costs in the Sanctuary Park restroom facility building. So that basically it's the same total project, and now adding back into it the design costs of $290,963.37. So the other projects remain the same: the Dykes Road piping project, the $65,000 for the voice over IP, the $49,000 for the town hall internet fiber, and then we've removed out the town hall safety improvements that were already previously removed. We're just indicating the zero there now because it wasn't indicated before. And the town hall multipurpose storage building, where previously we were allocating $28,707 from ARPA, now we're basically not allocating anything from there, and the entire project cost of $50,000 will come out of unassigned fund balance. That leads me to the Green Meadows Drainage Project. So we have basically, after accounting for all of those other projects in that column, we have $1,079,172.63 of ARPA funding left available to apply to the Green Meadows Drainage Project. but we needed the 1,209,000 as previously indicated, so that leaves us a shortfall of 130,816.37 cents. So that we propose to come from the unassigned fund balance as well, so that we can do the Green Meadows Drainage Project and all of its ad alternatives. So I hope that was clear, but if there's any questions about it, please.
So what's the total that's coming out of the unassigned fund balance?
That was my question.
The one question I didn't anticipate, Emil, can you do that running total? I can give you the numbers if you can just add that up real quick. So it'll be the 131,440.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The 131,440. So do you want to know from everything or just from what we changed last time?
I want to know
All the
everything.
total? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So it'd be-
Everything that is coming out from unassigned fund balance.
Yes, please.
Right.
Go ahead.
So it'd be the 131,440. The public safety facility, we don't know what that's going to cost. Obviously, we don't have a known cost for that yet. But for the LED monument signs is 131,440. The
50,000 for
50,000 for the multi-purpose storage building. The town hall safety improvements, when that comes up, we had proposed that was going to cost about $81,000.
You want me to include that round up
include that
number?
one as well.
81,
You got the 50,000, right?
and I got the 81 too.
Yep. And then the last one is the 130,816.37 cents. So the total to be proposed to come out of, you want me to do it again?
Yeah, because I
All right,
actually, I actually
apologies.
removed it by.
All right, so it's 131,440 from unassigned fund balance for the LED monument signs.
Go ahead.
It's the 50,000 for the multipurpose storage building, 81,242 for the town hall safety improvements, and 130,816.37 for the drainage project. $130,816.37.
0.37.
Correct.
Hold on. Okay, that's 393,498.37.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
So
393,498.
basically $400,000. So what this ties into is, if you'll remember, that we had talked about fund balances several meetings ago, and that the reality is, I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but what we have in funds balance, basically our savings account, versus what the state requires, we are way over that, which, you know, is not a bad thing, but it just shows that we're a very fiscally sound municipality. However, there comes a point where this money should be working for our residents. It shouldn't be sitting in the bank just getting interest. And so we had discussed at that prior meeting that we wanted to start looking at ways to put that money to work. And we set a balance, I think it was, is it 25%? I think 25% is where we wanted to put, not go below. Right now, you could probably give me the exacts. I'm just going to go with estimates. But I think the state says we need to be like 18 or 20%, and we've got like 33%. And so what we're talking about is going down to like 25%. Am I in the neighborhood?
You are in the neighborhood.
All I'm looking for is a neighborhood. So, so we decided at that meeting that we would start looking for ways to put that money to work rather than having it just sitting here. So that's what this discussion is about. It's not just, hey, let's just go out willy-nilly spend the money. We actually went through the process to determine that we really have too much money in the bank and it should be going to work for our residents. And so that's what this is about. I just wanted to be clear on that on the record. So it's about $400,000 is what we're talking about to coming out of reserves and putting it to work in these projects so that it provides benefit for our residents.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, Mayor?
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on that? Any concerns? Okay.
Okay, I just want to add to that, because we're doing this reallocation and kind of being very, transparent, obviously, about it, we do need to revise the spending summary and propose the following changes to the funding allocation for these projects as outlined in Exhibit B. But if they are accepted, and it seems that you guys are accepting them, the account numbers and dollar amount allocations in the resolutions for item 15, the Green Meadows Drainage Project, and the LED monument signs, which was approved previously, just need to be adjusted. So we'll make those adjustments accordingly. So just want you to be aware of that. Yes, the LED monument signs was.
So, were both of them on the last
No,
agenda?
the drainage project is on tonight. The LED was on, it was on the last meeting, correct?
So,
Can reconsider.
yeah, what I'd ask is you just, someone do a motion of reconsideration and a second on that, and reopen it up just to amend that proper budget item, and then.
The LED signs?
For the LED signs.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
So for just purposes of the record, the council is seeking to reconsider the LED monument sign resolution that was approved at the last meeting solely to correct the budget item of which account is being drawn from and the dollar amount. We need a motion, a vote first on the reconsideration, and then we can bring up the resolution.
Is there any discussion on this item? Is there any public discussion on this item?
I can pull it up. We should have just done this as like a scrivener's.
The bottom line is the total amount of all of the changes, we're still going to be at 25% or above, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Any other public discussion? Seeing none, public session closed. Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman,
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
So Mayor, now I'd ask Russell to read the resolution back into the record. Have either Emil or Russell announce the change and then re-vote on it.
Thank you, Keith.
I'll read it just because I have it handy. So it's a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving the purchase and installation of 2 LED monument signs from I2 Visual via cooperative purchasing agreement with the Florida Bi-State Cooperative Purchasing Agency, contract number 22-168, in an amount not to exceed $131,440.00, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute any and all documents necessary, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. The change that would need to be made would be in the account numbers that are related to in the whereas clause. It says the town council authorizes the reallocation of proceeds from account number 001-3920 541-63260, parens land, to 001-3920 519-63100, parens infrastructure general of the American Rescue Plan Act funds received to complete this purchase in fiscal year 2025. What we would be proposing to do is to take it from, instead of that American Rescue Plan Act account, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, to unassigned fund balance.
That is correct.
Do I have a motion for this item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great, thank you.
All right, Mayor, I have a couple other items. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Items 18 and 19 are related to the Craven Thompson renewals. I want to make sure that you all have the latest renewal rates that were sent to you late yesterday, early today. You might have received it. That reflects some diligent work on the part of our procurement officer, Christina Semeraro, who's not here tonight, but initially, the rates that were submitted reflected increases across the board of somewhere between 40 to 45% in some cases. She noticed that obviously we were looking into these rates and trying to get justification for these increases, and had done some additional due diligence and noticed that Craven Thompson had recently renewed their contract with another city nearby. And she investigating that other city, determined that their rates were actually lower than the ones that they were proposing to us. And so she called them out on it and basically got them to agree to the lower rate, to extend the same lower rate to us, which is actually even lower than their normal standard rate. So now these increases, they're still increases, but you have to remember these are rates that were originally agreed to back in 2019, 5 years later. And these rates now represent increases somewhere in, on average, I would say of about 30% increases. So significant savings to the town. And again, kudos to Christina for doing that due diligence.
Yeah, I also want to echo that. Thank you so much to Christina, and frankly, just a reflection on our staff as a whole. We've got an awesome staff that goes far beyond what is, the minimum, and make sure it looks out for our residents in our town. So appreciate that. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, David.
Russell, you said 18?
18 and 19.
Okay, I think 16, 17, I think is what my agenda shows.
I apologize. 16, 17.
All right.
Thank you, David.
I have two other things, Mayor.
Yep, go ahead.
Before something starts getting thrown at me. At the December 12th meeting, which is the next meeting, I intend to bring forward a recommendation to the town council for a modification to the existing agreement with J.A. Medina LLC for code compliance services. The agreement will be a 5-year term, is what's being proposed, and include the addition of an additional code compliance officer to better serve the town's residents, providing better service. So we will obviously work on the actual language of the modification and bring that back to you for your consideration, but I just wanted to kind of give you the heads up on that.
Excellent. If I can just jump in there, just a quick comment on that. I think that we are very fortunate to have Julio and his team here. I think they are highly professional. I think that they understand the town, and they understand how to treat the residents with respect and to investigate these issues as best they possibly can. And I think it's the right balance of enforcement, compliance more than enforcement, as well as just frankly just trying to get the issue resolved as best we can. I think we're fortunate to have them, and I think we need to be fair to them to make sure that they are being fairly treated as well. So I look forward to seeing this update and being able to get that settled and get that whole issue behind us.
Okay, wanted to read two other things into the record. The next is the town was awarded a $200,000 grant to complete a vulnerability assessment. The town will be holding a public workshop on January 21st at 7 p.m. here at Town Hall. The outreach process will allow residents and other stakeholders to provide input on study direction, assisting in identifying vulnerable areas, identifying available data and resources, and reviewing project findings and recommendations. So I just wanted to put it out there so people can plan their schedule and plan to attend that vulnerability assessment workshop. That is January 21st at 7 p.m. The last thing that I wanted to read into the record, Mayor, is the letters were sent out to residents that previously had requested an extra cart. This is just a friendly reminder that the renewals for these carts must be made by December 1st, and failure to pay for the extra cart will result in the waste and the extra carts not being collected. If you have any questions about requesting an additional cart or ceasing service on an extra cart that you have on your property, we invite you to contact Town Hall at 954-434-0008. And lastly, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Great. Thank you, Russell.
I got a question for
Yeah.
Russell. Russell, this is in the out of the blue, out of left field type questions. So last night when I was bringing in my trash cart and recycling bin, one of my neighbors came up who lives over the fence from me is Pembroke Pines. And he's asking me if it's true that Pembroke Pines is running sewers out that way. Have you heard anything?
I have not heard anything about Pembroke Pines running any sewers out there.
Okay, and they have water already, but he came at me like they're going to put it right through your property. Okay. I didn't think it was real, but I figured if they would do something like that, would you hear about it?
I
Would they
would
alert
like
you?
to think that we have the professional courtesy that something like that would be run by me. I have had discussions recently with Charlie Dodge, the city manager for Pembroke Pines, and that has never been brought up to me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I will say I've had some great discussions with Mayor Castillo as well. I feel like we're on a great, we have a good working relationship, and I would hope I would hear from him as well in that situation. So
Thank you.
I had one question for Russell. Just going to the containers, and I'm just saying this for the public to understand where it does. One of my residents contacted me that their recycling bin was stolen. It's no longer around. What is the procedure for them to obtain a new one for one that has been stolen?
They can simply just call Town Hall and request one, and we'll put them in touch to the right department, which is Public Works Engineering. They'll typically deal with Susan in the Public Works Department, and she will make that happen. There's no extra cost for a recycling cart.
I'll take care of that.
Russell, in the same category, somebody approached me a couple of weeks ago that their green bin that, we issued when we switched providers a couple of years ago, or didn't, depending on what, it's fallen apart. I mean, the bottom has got holes in it, and they were telling me that when they dump, lots of stuff spill out on the ground due to the holes. Is that something Waste Management replaces, or you'd have to pay to replace as a resident?
They will replace the cart, as long as obviously they don't try to put out a second cart to be collected.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, we good? All right. Item number 9, please.
This is an ordinance of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, adopting the 5-year schedule of capital improvements for fiscal years 2025 through 2029 pursuant to Chapter 163 Florida statutes, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. I assume all the discussions from our LPA are brought over to this item. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, is there any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Item number 11, please. Item 10, sorry.
Item 10 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, requesting that the mayor and the town clerk, through this resolution, authenticate the electorate's approval of 5 charter amendments, directing the town clerk to incorporate the approved charter amendments into the town's charter and providing for an effective date.
Proudly to move,
Sorry?
proudly moving this one.
Second. Proudly.
We have a motion and a second on this one. I actually have a question about it. On page 36, when it lists the 5 different, it actually lists 3, 4, and 5. It looks like there may be a typo on number 5. Looks like 4 and 5 both say transition, but I believe 5 is the 5-0 vote on the proactive. I think that might need to be updated unless I'm misreading something.
Good catch.
Keith?
I didn't draft this, but he is correct. The mayor is always correct, but especially on this one. So I would recommend modifying that language to proactive code from transition.
So amended.
This is for you, Newell. So if we can update that with as amended.
Yep.
Can I get the maker and the second to?
I so amended
Okay,
mine.
thank you.
Ditto.
All right, any other comments from the council? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
Thunder Stealer, Noel Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue. I'd like to know how long it's going to take to get these from here into the Muni Code. Thank you.
Thank you, Newell. Any other public comments? Seeing none, public comment closed. I know that's not, it does take some time. I don't know if anybody can speak to that. I think we update the Muni Code, and then it takes a while for it to actually get published out there for the world to see. I don't know, Deborah, do you have any thoughts on that? Approximate?
Once this resolution is signed and executed, we will send the copy over to Municode, and they will upload it onto their website, but a printed copy will come out
Okay.
at a later
Is that
date.
weeks or a couple of months, or what does that normally take?
It's
Any
been a
thought?
little slow with them, but let me see what I can do about getting it uploaded quickly.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other final comments? Seeing none, if we can call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes,
Motion passed.
very good. Item number 11, please.
Item 11 is the resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, consenting to the City of Cooper City providing water services to 13201 Luray Road, real property lying within the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing that no further expansion of service shall be permitted without the explicit written consent of the town, providing for a certified copy of this resolution to be furnished to the City of Cooper City, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mayor, would you like the next one to be read, and also sometimes you do tandem on the
Yeah, if we can.
water
Can we do that? All right, let's read that in.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, consenting to the City of Cooper City, providing water services to 5451 Southwest 124th Avenue, real property lying within the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing that no further expansion of service shall be permitted without the explicit written consent of the town, providing for a certified copy of this resolution to be furnished to the City of Cooper City, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on both items. Is there any further discussion on these items? Seeing none, is there any public discussion on these items? Seeing none, public session is closed.
Great idea to combine them.
Yeah,
More time.
yeah. If we could please call the roll.
I'll be calling the roll for both 11 and 12.
Thank you.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
11 and 12 have passed.
Very good. Item number 13, please.
Item 13 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, accepting the bid recommendation for IFB 2502 from Premier Air Conditioning and Refrigeration in the amount of $29,552.00 to furnish and install 3 HVAC units for Southwest Ranches Volunteer Fire Department modular at 17220 Griffin Road, approving a budget amendment to the fiscal year 24-25 town budget, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing for an effective date.
Do I have a motion on this item?
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, is there any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, if we please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item number 14, please.
Item 14 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a purchase order to Radar Sign in the amount of $46,000.00 for the purchase of 12 flashing speed limit signs, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on this item. On this one, I wish Jim was here. I'd turn it over to him, so I'll speak for him just a little bit. I know he and his public safety group have done a whale of a job working on this, and this is a follow-up to what we've had in the past with these speed signs that are solar-powered and basically, I think, have been highly effective in slowing down the residents here and those passing through the town to bring down the speed on a lot of vehicles. And so we were going to do this in two halves. We did one half last year. We're doing the second half this year. And so I think this is a great step forward. Gary, I know you've done some work on this too. I think we're all good on it. And I don't know, Gary, if you wanted to make official, I know you spoke to your residents in Rolling Oaks and you want to make a...
Well, basically, the three allocated towards Rolling Oaks, I'm letting the other council members take them since Rolling Oaks is maxed out.
Yeah.
With that, and we're going to probably put in a different kind of sign alerting the drivers to loose animals.
To animals, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
All in 78th.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
that's the plan at this
Great.
point.
Yeah, thank you for that. I really appreciate it, and I think it'll be very beneficial in
Thank
the
you,
other
Gary.
areas as well. So really excellent.
Yeah, so everybody, the remaining council members have, I'll put 4, and they each get 4 to put in their district.
All right, right. And I love that about our council. I love that about our residents, that we're looking for what's best for the town. So thank you. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, if we can please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Item number 15, please.
Item number 15 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving an agreement with Kalis Corp. For construction of the Green Meadows Drainage Improvement Project in the amount of $2,001,050.00, approving a budget amendment to the fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing an effective date.
Do I have a motion on this item?
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I also wanted to say a couple words on this. I know this was something that came up a lot during the election cycle campaigns, that we need to, that there was issues with drainage, and clearly there are issues with drainage. But we have made incredible progress over the first 24 years of our town compared to where we were to where we are, and we are committed to doing a whole lot more. Here's another $2 million going towards the drainage, and we're working on it. And a lot of this funding, as we just had a great discussion item earlier this evening, a lot of this, these projects are being funded outside of the tax revenues of our town. So super job there. We have, once again, a great addition of our staff that's getting this funding for us to be able to improve our town. We've got an awesome staff, and we are addressing the drainage issues with this funding and making great progress with it. I just want to make note about that. Yeah, Bob.
Got a question or two for Rod. Would you mind coming up? Rod, when do you expect this to start? And then what's the duration approximately? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have been asking Russell.
Yes, you should.
Sorry, Russell.
Can I, please? Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is, we're looking at a 6-month timeline for this project, but the contractor that's going to do this work, and we're hoping, if everything goes well and gets awarded to that contractor, they've got an extensive history here, a lot of successful projects, and they've always done a really good job with us. So,
Starting when?
typically after this meeting, we'll schedule our pre-con, kind of go through all the specifications of starting construction. Then, and after that, looking at the holiday season, realistically, most likely the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
But if I mean our contractors here, if they have the means and the resources to start, sometime maybe after Thanksgiving, at which he's hinted that there's a possibility that he may be able to do that.
Great.
We're open to definitely do that, but we need to have enough time that we advertise it, that we communicate it to the residents. We're preparing letters to send out. Once we have the finalized information as to when we're going to start, we want to make sure that we send that to all the residents so they know it's coming. But I know that he's ready to start, and we're anxious to get started too.
Great.
Rod, while you're up there, just totally different project, separate question, but it is something that came up in one of the HOA meetings, and I didn't have the best answer for it. So while you're here, let me ask you, as far as the project there, the restroom project in Preserve, what's kind of the start and end date, anticipated start and end date for that?
That one's, I think, a little bit more complicated, Mayor, because I know we've gone through the initial permitting process, obviously through our permitting process, but also going through Health Department for water and through Sunrise for water, and also Health Department for sewer. Initially, we were looking at doing a septic tank and drain field. We just found out recently, as our consultant team was trying to get those permits finalized, that there's a possibility that we might have to connect to sewer because of proximal lines there. So we're trying to iron that out and figure it out, and that's basically a little bit of what the holdup is currently. We don't have any resolution yet. We're going back and forth trying to get a determination on that.
Right.
So as soon as we know,
Yeah, if you could let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Where is there sewer in the neighborhood?
On Dykes and Griffin, essentially at Tom Thumb, you have force mains that are already existing. So they're basically saying that because those lines are right there, they're suggesting that we have to connect to them.
Any impact that anticipated to the budget?
I have to, it depends on the size of the grinder station that's required, and that's going to be dependent on the system pressures that are out there right now. We don't even know if there's essentially a moratorium in that line, so there's a lot of unknowns right now with Sunrise because we were never anticipating to have to connect. So we still need to get a bunch of those things answered.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks, Rod.
Thank you, Russell.
Worries. And Mayor, if I could just add to that, the only reason why we haven't even brought that last issue that Rod just mentioned up to you yet is because we are trying to work through that and try to get some resolution. We do have something in our code that actually exempts certain residential categories in the town from having to connect to sewer when it is available like that. I'm sorry, county code. And so we are trying to see if we can utilize that as justification. The only complication is that that applies to residential categories. This is CF property, but we're trying to use that as a rational nexus to say, hey, you got to give us the exemption on this too. So once we get that resolved, we'll communicate that back to council.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Any other discussion on the item? Seeing none, any public discussion on the item?
Of the several $1 million there that are being expended, how much of that is coming out of our general fund?
I think that was in the,
Yeah, I can address that. It's outlined in the staff report, but also because of the revision that we did tonight. So we did receive $793,000 in funding from the state budget with a $100,000 town match. Then we also, obviously, we're utilizing ARPA funding. So we're using ARPA funding in the amount of $1,079,000. And we had a surplus from that original FDEP grant that we had received. So the total number, I mean, if I don't have the total number in front of me right now, but we could do the calculation on that. Emil, would you do that again for me? If you need the exact number. But essentially, it's probably close to, it's the unassigned fund balance amount of 130,816.37, I believe, is going to probably be the full number. And the town match, the 100,000.
okay, well, while you work on that, we'll get that number out.
Approximately 230.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, if we can please call the roll on the item.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Item number 16, please. Do we want to do 16 and 17 together?
I think
Let's
it's a
do
good idea.
read in both 16 and 17, please.
Item 16 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a contract extension to the professional surveying services agreement with Craven Thompson and Associates, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to enter into an agreement and providing for an effective date. Item 17 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a contract extension to the professional engineering services agreement with Craven Thompson and Associates, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to enter into an agreement and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a motion and a second on these items?
Motion approved.
Second.
On one or both?
Both.
Both.
On both. Thank you. Any discussion from the council?
Yes.
All right.
Sort of a sour taste in my mouth right now
Okay.
that they were going to charge another city a lower rate and just kind of threw us under the bus on a larger rate. And due to the diligence of our staff, they got caught. And they in other words, I look at it as they got their fingers caught in the cookie jar. And I find that disconcerting and not very professional, especially for somebody that we have a long-term
Right.
relationship with. I mean, we've been using this company for over a decade, you know, and it almost feels like they were trying to put the screws to us.
Yep.
I'll put it plainly speaking.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I would say that we don't know all the circumstances around how they got that other lower rate, whether there was anything in particular unique about that one. There may be some special circumstances, or it may be exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I noticed that they agreed to reduce it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think they're, yeah. I don't want to speculate for them, and I don't want to defend them, because I was a little surprised as
I
well.
know. It's,
So,
it doesn't change anything other than
yeah,
it's just,
it's worth noting.
yeah, I think, going on the record.
Yep. Any other discussion on this item? Any public discussion on the item? Getting your
I'd
exercise
like
tonight.
a chair right here, please.
Yeah, exactly.
New Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue. It amazed me that when Russell said that they dropped it that quick. My question is, did staff do a survey of what the going rate is within Broward County for these services, and whether these services that we are now contracting for are within line of what is in Broward County right now. Are they better? Are they worse? Are they the same? What are they? That's my question. Thank you.
Thanks, Noel. Any other public comment? Seeing none.
Mayor, if you'd like me to address
Yeah,
that
please.
comment, I certainly can. So we did look into this. I did, in bringing this and having the agenda briefings with several of you, that was a major concern for you, the percentage increase for some of these rates, and we did look into it. I spoke to the town engineer, Public Works Director Rod Lay, and he basically confirmed that the industry, especially after the ARPA funding bills, there was just great demand for a lot of critical infrastructure projects. That demand then spurred, obviously, increases in the continuing services or the professional engineering industry. And so the rates have gone up tremendously. We have to remember that these rates that we're talking about originally were from 2019. So the rates, we did confirm, I did have him look into the rates at other cities, and he felt that they were consistent with the rates that have been received by other cities. The other thing that we looked into is that we have continuing services contracts with other providers, and in 2022, several of them came in to renew their rates. And these rates, according to the Public Works Director, are consistent with some of those rates that we got back in 2022. So that I felt the level of comfort of bringing this forward.
Awesome. Good. Thank you, Russell.
You're welcome.
Any other council
I
questions?
expressed those same concerns to Russell. In fact, I was borderline saying we need to find somebody else. But when Russell just talked with me about the work that staff did, I was like, okay, I'll be okay with this one.
Good. Thank you, David. And I think, I'll say again, I think we are very fortunate to have the staff that we have.
Yes.
They really look out for the town in so many ways. We're really fortunate. If we could please call the roll.
I'm going to be calling the roll for both 16 and 17.
Yes, please.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Items 16 and 17 have passed.
Awesome. If you can please read item number 18.
Item 18 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches approving the First Amendment to the use agreement between the Town of Southwest Ranches and the Cioli Group LLC for the Southwest Ranches Community Farmers Market, amending the use of the site, providing for increased compensation to the town, and expanding the responsibilities, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute the First Amendment to the agreement and providing for an effective
Motion
date.
to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. I'd like to just say a couple of thoughts. There's been, well, for years, this was a dream of mine to have this here, and it was one of the things that I am so pleased that it came together. But beyond that, I am so pleased that we found such amazing partners in this effort with Antonio and Audrey. They've just been like, they walked in, it was professional from day one, it was run properly from day one, and they became neighbors from day one. Just great people to work with and just so identified with the folks coming through there. So thank you all for your efforts. I'm looking forward to this continuing on and appreciate some of the negotiations. I don't know, Russell, if you can just talk about a couple of the things, the composting and the other funding.
Sure. So we were approached by the Cioli Group, Audrey and Antonio, about extending the market days from just Saturdays to Saturdays and Sunday. And obviously, the farmers market is almost a signature event for the town. It's on a prominent corner. People see it and come from all over the place. I attend it quite frequently myself, so I'm very familiar with it. However, I do know that we do run that program kind of at a deficit, which is consistent with most parks programs. You're not running parks programs or special events to make money per se. But my goal was in those initial discussions, negotiations with the Cioli Group to kind of have more of a cost recovery model and at least recover our costs that we are putting into that site for the restroom, the porta potties, and also the grounds maintenance and some of the other things that we were doing. So when they approached me about adding the other market day, I did express a desire to recoup some of the costs associated with that. To their credit, they also suggested on their own that they were interested in helping the town implement a composting program out at the site. And so I thank them for that because I know it is something that's near and dear to the town and important to our residents. So we have incorporated that into this agreement as well. We have reworked the need for the amount of porta potties that are out there, and we've reworked that number based on actual observance by the licensee, and they have agreed to basically cover the cost of the porta potties and the restroom or the restroom facilities going into the future. So there's a component built into the new agreement of paying $500 for the cost of the porta potties and the restroom facilities into the future. And also the market rent, obviously, per market day would increase because it's an extra day per weekend. Now, this is only, I want to clarify because it's something we've talked about off and on. I just want to make sure that I understand. The extra market day is only for season, the special season. It's not year-round, correct? Okay, they are nodding their head for the record, so it's only for certain times of the year. During the summer, they only plan to have just the Saturdays, correct? Okay, that is correct. So, it's before you tonight with those conditions included into the use agreement. The original agreement runs until 2026, and so it's here for your consideration.
Yeah, and I wanted to speak towards that. So I think one of the things that, we went through this, one of the things that I've appreciated in working together on this is that we've kind of been a step-by-step approach. We had shorter hours, we increased the hours, and we didn't go in the summer, and then we went ahead and went in the summer. And so we've learned and grown, and each year, another thing that I really appreciate about you all is not even at the end, even more than once a year, you come back with a list of suggestions. These are the things that are working, these are the things that are, we can tweak and we can make better, and I really appreciate that. So I'm very comfortable with the group, and I know this is a 2-year contract with then another 2-year renewal. I would like to get the council's thoughts on making it a 3-year contract and a 3-year renewal. I don't know if I want to go to 4, but maybe going to a 3-year and a 3-year so that it gives everything more stability.
Changing it now?
Yes.
I don't have any objection to that. I do have a couple of points I want to talk about later, but
Okay.
But I have no objection to this.
What do you think, Bob?
No issue.
Yeah. I mean, if we
Till renewal time, but it doesn't make sense if we're going to the contract now.
Yeah. Well, it would be a 3-year contract initially, rather than 2, but
Right.
yeah, and then a 3 renewal.
The 3 years would start from right now?
Yeah,
Right.
Okay,
in this contract.
okay. I'm fine.
Okay with that? Are you all okay with that? Yeah. So if we can do that, the 3-year and the 3-year renewal rather than a 2-year and a 2-year renewal.
If they go to 3 years, it's going to extend it to 27.
Are you okay with, is there an issue from a legal?
Just trying to figure out what the end date would be on the first term. That's what I was asking. Is it 3 years from when? Is it 3 years from now, or is it 3 years from 2025? I just
3 years from when we initiate the new contract.
Okay, so that's now. That would be now. The amendment is now, so the
it's
3 years
almost
from now.
25.
Right.
20, sorry, it's
27.
almost 28.
It would be, the very end of 2027.
Right.
27.
That's what I thought.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we have agreement on that. If we can amend our
So amended.
motion and second. Okay, thank you. All right. Any comments from the public?
I got.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
All right.
David.
First of all, I'm going to bring up an issue that came up a couple weeks ago. I drove out there, farmer's market, and it was great attendance. But there were people that were parking in the driveway. I'm not talking the routes along the little, each parking strip. I'm talking the main driveway. They parked their car right there. And I couldn't find anybody. Both Antonio and Audrey were gone. I asked around, they were gone. I couldn't find anybody to resolve the issue, and cars were just parking there. And I want to make sure that somebody, one of the two, will always be there. Can I get that assurance? It's up
Yeah.
to the mayor. It's up to the mayor. All right, and the second issue dovetails back into this ordinance from Miami-Dade County. And I would like to have some language inserted into this contract that the town council directs the Cioli Group to the greatest extent possible to eliminate the distribution of single-use plastics and polystyrene to consumers at the farmers market concessionaires in such forms including but not limited to straws, containers, utensils, beverage bottles, plastic stirrers, plastic bags, with the exception of prepackaged food such as ready-to-eat meals or snack packs. But generally, we stand for being zero waste, and I think we need to implement the zero waste policy for the vendors at the farmers market. And I just want to see how everybody thinks about this.
I'll speak for myself that I agree wholeheartedly with the sentiment of where you're going. I think from an implementation standpoint, I'd like to hear, from Antonio and Audrey on this, but my gut says that these are all individual vendors, all buying their own individual inventories of cups and forks and whatever
give them a leeway. Give them a leeway to
yeah,
adjustment period.
and that's my point.
Give them 6 months.
I don't know if it needs to be in the contract. I don't have a problem with it, but I trust them that if we gave them the direction to do that they would do it. But yeah,
Yeah, Mayor, give them 6 months to comply.
yeah,
That way
good
they
idea.
can use up their existing inventory.
Right.
yep.
And transition into a newer one.
It's really important to me
All right.
in the zero waste
Okay.
atmosphere.
Okay. So let's, if it's okay, Antonio, if you could please come up, or Audrey, one of you come up and speak to those points and give us your thoughts on those.
I'd like to first say and give credit and kudos to whomever was responsible for providing the buffet here, because the cannolis were excellent.
Nice.
And being Italian, I really appreciated it. And if it's anyone that's in the room, we have a spot for you at the Farmers Market. My name is Antonio Salci. My address is 15804 Southwest 16th Street in Davie, Florida. I'm here tonight with my wife, Audrey. Our company is the Cioli Group. In Italiano si dice Cioli. Let's say it in unison. Cioli. Grazie tantissimo. Thank you. And we're very proud to operate the Southwest Ranches Community Farmers Markets. We're happy to officially announce here that we will be accepting the amendment to our agreement. Thank you, Mayor Steve, for that as well, and council. I speak for Audrey and our entire team when I say that we are excited about the future and our continuing partnership with the town of Southwest Ranches. Even more so now that we have the re-elected driving force and truly visionary behind our farmers market, Mayor Steve, and all the original town council members, without whose constant and much appreciated support, this town, this community farmers market would not have happened. We believe that the farmers market true value to the town is not measured in dollars and cents. That said, however, this amendment does reflect increased revenue for the town, as well as our team taking on the additional responsibility in assisting the town's composting program initiative. Our mission has always been to first establish, then sustain a weekend go-to destination option for the community residents to come socialize, shop local, and generally enjoy a friendly and welcoming outdoor farmers market experience. I believe very humbly that we've established that, but we have a lot more that we can do. We have tried and proven ideas that we can tweak and adapt, then realistically implement them to further enhance the market experience at no cost to the town. To address Councilman Kuczynski about the The parking issue that you encountered, sorry, the parking in the exit lane, if I understand that correctly.
Correct.
If I can address that, yes, we were well aware of that after that happened. That you could not find someone there, I don't understand, because we always have someone there. If it's not myself, if it's not my wife Audrey, it's one of my market managers who was there at the time. Her name is Kenya, and she is also a Miami-Dade police officer who I trust implicitly with the running of the market. She's been trained for over 3 months with us. Now, if there was an issue with the parking and it wasn't resolved, that is something certainly that we've already addressed. I've had 6 new cemented in the big buckets, the 5-gallon buckets, signs with the 4x4s. I built them myself, thank you very much. Put the sign on there, no parking. It's much more clear as it should have been from the beginning. But again, it's a process. So that point is very well taken, but please rest assured, David, that it's being taken care of. Let me see, what else have I got here? Yeah, we've begun renewing our banners and considerably upgrading our parking signage and handicap parking zone. We also maintain a weekly social media advertising budget promoting the market, as well as our special holiday-themed markets, all at our expense. But this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, methodical planning, and very importantly, listening and addressing valid customer comments and feedback. There was one other thing, David. The recycling. Now, as Russell mentioned, the composting is something that we can monitor. And my wife and I and 2 of the rest of our team, that's my daughter and her husband, we've discussed already since a meeting with Russell of how to actually implement and making that a successful program. To address your concern, your valid concern about straws and all that kind of stuff, it's true. We've tried. We've had a recycling bin brought out there. We have a recycling dumpster there. But unless we're given maybe half a dozen staff to monitor the garbage cans, to monitor the recycling, it's impossible.
Sure.
You can have one piece of pizza in a pizza box that will destroy a whole container full of recycling.
Right.
You can have one straw in there will destroy the whole process.
Right.
We have tried. It is not feasible to do. If you have any ideas to make that happen, I'm willing to listen over and above what we've already discussed. Now, that said, the composting program, I think we can make work. We've discussed, as I just mentioned, how we were going to implement that. Once we receive the containers from the town, I know that a preponderance of the recycling materials will come from our produce people. That we are going to put, I don't know what kind of containers they're going to be. If they're going to be the wheelie ones, that would be great. But please have them have a lock on them so that no junk, because you would be surprised the amount of stuff that we see dumped into the dumpster after they have been emptied by Waste Management. During the week, there's tires, there's bags of garbage in there that, we don't know where they come from because it is not locked. So that said, we do not want that to happen. The dumpster, we can squeeze it in when our vendors come in on the Saturday and it'll get picked up on Monday. That hasn't been an issue.
Yep.
But it would be an issue for the composting. If that is not locked and secured, people will come in and throw crap in there that does not belong, and it'll void the whole program. So please have some kind of composting bin. I have no idea what they are, with the lock on it, and also preferably if they have some kind, if they're wheels, if they come in the wheelie things, we will put one right beside our produce vendor, because they have a lot of waste. They're peeling and stuff. It's all going to go in, boom, 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 in the recycling. And again, we will monitor that. We will educate all our vendors as to anything that has to go into that compost container. I'm probably going to end up asking for maybe more than one, just so we can have at different locations. But each one that I request, I will have someone be close to our vendors, whether it be near on the east side of the property, running north and south on the far east side of the property, where a lot of the food is eaten, where maybe have a few food trucks and consumable food. That is where they can dump it right there. And again, I've already requested for the proper signage to educate customers. So it's a big sign that says, this is the only stuff that goes in here. I think I can certainly educate our vendors. I have no control over the customers, but we can do our best to have everyone monitor on my side, the Choli group, as well as our vendors, monitor what goes in there on site.
Mayor, if I could please
Yes, sir.
just direct, there's not that many things that I think were not agreeable, meaning that wasn't in the contract, that I need to see if you're in agreement with,
Yes.
so that we can move this forward. Were you okay with moving the term through December of 2027?
28 would be nicer.
But we're proposing 27, taking from 2 to 3 years.
I will take 27.
Okay, so that issue one's agreeable. I'll mention yours as well, Russell. Number two, are you agreeable to put language in the lease that you will work to ensure that that exit lane is not blocked by vehicles? It's actually a fire access also, which brought up another issue.
100%.
Okay, fine. Russell brought up the fact that the contract increased by $500 because of the porta potties and the like, but you probably heard earlier tonight that we're trying to build a restroom facility out there. That $500 will continue regardless, even if our restroom is installed. We want to make sure that that's recognized by you as well.
That is not recognized by me at this point. What I'm seeing is a lot of delay on the construction of that, so we don't know. If it indeed means paying $500, that's just a straight increase in fee.
Correct.
That is something that we can certainly discuss with
Well, it
Russell.
would need to be discussed now. Russell's telling me he thought it was clear, so you may want to jump in, Russell.
Yes, please.
It's not my issue.
The language in the contract, the way it's written right now, and I apologize, I actually thought this was language that you wrote, Keith. It says, in addition to, licensee agrees to pay the town monthly a sum of $500 or an amount equal to the town's expenditure, whichever is greater, for portable toilets and/or other restroom facilities at the event site. So the understanding is $500 is to be paid. I wanted clarification. Does that mean even after the porta potties are no longer needed, the $500 continues? Because there is going to be an additional drain on the restroom facility, an additional janitorial
Yeah, I think
services.
there is still cleaning facilities and,
Right.
we've got a brand new, so it's just the money going to it. It's a different item, but it's still covering the same issue.
So then our fee would be that whatever it was that we're paying for the porta potties would be a consistent fee.
It would be a consistent fee.
Right to then. Is that negotiable at all, once the porta potties are removed?
Do we have any sort of a number on what the maintenance will be on those?
Yeah, I spoke to December earlier today. She felt that that number would actually be greater in the future and was concerned that $500 itself might not be more than enough. And that's why initially when Antonio approached me about extending the term to 2028, and Antonio and I know, we have we have open communication. I told him I'm here to operate on the town's best interests. This is nothing personal. But I felt that we should not be extending the contract past 2026 because we don't know what costs are going to be past that point. So my concern was just keeping it to 2026. But I understand if council wants to, if it's the priority of council or the approval of council to go ahead and extend it past that, that's fine. But we need to be cognizant that costs are going to increase over time. And
Well, given that, if I might say, if you've already checked that would be, the expenditure would be equal to or greater than the $500, then we're in agreement with that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Just so you know, the cleaning out of a commercial septic tank would be far exceeding that amount, in general.
Right, but we wouldn't be the only ones using that septic tank, so. But that's
Yeah,
okay.
it would be, yeah, I'm,
Yeah. And then the final issue that Councilmember Kaczynski raised
Yes.
that you didn't really address, so I don't know where we stand on it, is he asked that you would make best efforts, he actually just handed me the language, to the greatest extent possible within 6 months of this new contract to advise your vendors that they are precluded from using single-use plastics. That you would take affirmative
And
steps to
styrofoam.
advise them.
Yeah, so should I address you, David, on this one?
Council.
The council,
You know,
the entire council.
I'd have to talk to all the vendors and see, how much is that going to cost you to buy recycle? I mean, I get the program 100%, but we've tried, and if their costs are going to go up considerably, we're going to get a little bit of blowback. We can certainly try and eliminate
I'm going to tell you.
plastic bottles. And
Yes,
sir.
I get food from Flanagan's. All right? Occasionally I go around and get.
I'm sorry, can you speak up,
I,
please?
I occasionally get food from Flanagan's. Flanagan's is the only restaurant that I have seen in the entire area that has recyclable. It's a kind of a cardboard kind of material for their food containers. Okay, plastic straws. You don't need plastic straws.
David, I know these exist.
You can tell these vendors, this is the rule in Southwest Ranches. They put the law down on you.
Yeah.
Too bad, okay? And I believe that I'm going to have my residents behind me on this.
Yeah. Well, if you're telling me now that that is the rule, I have to abide by that. I will definitely go to every single vendor, every single new vendor, and tell them this is the law.
Thank you.
To have them, let's say we put that in, and then we have our lemonade salesperson has a straw.
Yeah.
What do you suggest I do with them?
Commissioner Oliver Gilbert, Miami-Dade County Commission, says in this article, I'll give you a copy of it.
Miami-Dade, what does the
He
Broward
says,
Commission
quote,
say?
I hate paper straws, but I will use them and vote on this item because it's good for the
No, I understand.
environment.
No, David, I understand that 100%. Please answer my question. What do I tell any of the vendors that contribute to the success of the farmers market?
They got
that,
some time to make changes. They got 6 months to make changes. They don't have to do it right now.
so let me jump in here. I don't want this to degrade too far. Let me jump in here.
Can I chime in here for a minute, Mayor? I'm giving away my age, but I was in the food business prior to single-use plastic. And we used cake boxes, we used brown bags, we used non-plastic forks, things of that nature, straws that were paper before the big plastic boom occurred. So it,
Yeah, no, I get all that. I get all that.
sure,
What I think we need to keep in mind here is that most of these vendors, this is what they do on the weekends. This is a sidekick. And what I don't want to do, I agree with what you're saying. I don't disagree with any. What I have an issue with is making it the law, because I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay? I don't want to turn something that is tremendous for our town into something that now we have an adversarial relationship because they cannot do what we're asking them to do. And so, I mean, I guess the wording that you've got there is to do the best they can do, and maybe that's okay. So you do the best that you can do.
100%.
And we're okay with that.
And we'll repeat it?
And because I believe in it, I believe that you believe in it. And, but I have a hard time, as you're expressing, and this occurred to me before you even expressed it, that to lay down the law with all these people when they're going to all these other places, so this is changing their whole operation for something that is a sidelight to them. And I don't want them to disappear, the vendors to disappear. I think we've got quality vendors because of the inventory they've got, or the fact that they're not maybe educated on all these different things. So I believe that they're going to do the best they can. I guess we can stick it in there, and we'll do the best we can. And I know, frankly, I have as much confidence in you standing there and saying you're going to do it as I do that it's written in the contract, to be honest with you. And so I guess we can do that as long as the wording is what it is, which is basically to the best of your abilities, you will try and get it
I really
done.
appreciate that, Mr. Mayor, but David, I want you also to feel comfortable with this and know that when I tell you that we will advise and do our best to get any kind of plastics out of the market, we will do our best. I will go to every single vendor on a weekly basis. As well, I will post it and make it part of their agreement. Some of them are going to bust it.
If they want to complain, 305-815-0990. Have them call me.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Mayor, since those issues are resolved, there's only one thing I have to just point out for the record, then I
Please do.
promise we're done. Because you extended the date beyond 2026.
26, correct.
Under the contract, it goes to 175 per day instead of
Instead of 150, correct.
instead of 150. I just want to make sure the vendor knows that, the council knows that, because you extended it over, so it's now 175 a day.
Okay,
Yeah, 100%.
excellent. Antonio, anything
Yeah,
else
just
you
the
wanna
last
add?
thing, I just wanted to say, so in closing, I just want to invite everyone here this evening, Honorable Mayor Steve, the esteemed Town Council, your families, and all here tonight to a very special Thanksgiving-themed market that we're having this weekend. And we kind of presumed that we were going to get the Sunday in. Thank you so much, because that's a whew on that one, because we had to get the advertising in there. Otherwise, nobody would have known about it.
Right.
So now, when we leave here, I'm going right to the market site and planting the new weekend flags that we purchased at our expense. So I want to invite everyone this weekend. We're bringing in a free Thanksgiving family photo tent. It's going to be all decorated and stuff as well. We will be welcoming a very special guest appearance by our very own Southwest Ranches turkey mascot.
Nice.
And if there's anything we can do for you when you're there, just announcing the newly elected town council, we're happy to do it. If you want to take photos with the visitors that come in, I'm happy to announce. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
Is there a time you're planning that, Antonio, or
Yes,
is that just all weekend
10
long?
to 3.
Okay, so all
Yeah.
weekend long.
Our mascot will be there from 10, probably
That's what
from
I want a
9:30.
picture of.
And if you recognize him, you recognize him. That's cool. You probably will.
Great, awesome. Any other-
I got one issue, and I'm going to ask Keith if there's something we can do with this. Is there a way that we can trademark the name Southwest Ranches Farmers Market?
Of course.
And then tell some folks that are using that name that we have a trademark on it, and they're to cease and desist because the town of Southwest Ranches has that name.
Is there someone who's tried to utilize that name?
Using.
Flamingo Road.
Can I say something? Is it okay, David, or who do I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
There is a local, it's kind of like a grocery store thing, and they're called the Southwest Ranches Farmers Market. I don't believe their address is Southwest Ranches. However,
It's
that
Cooper City.
you know what it is. But however, that doesn't affect us because our name is not the Southwest Ranches Farmers Market. All our advertising from the beginning has been methodical and directed of promoting a community farmers market. And if you notice on all our advertising, community is in caps almost all the time. Our official name is the Southwest Ranchers Community Farmers Market. I've already put in something to somewhere years ago to trademark that name, and I got a negatory on that, but I will follow it up if you would like me to, but I don't think we'll have a problem with that.
I just asked the
I appreciate
attorney.
that, because I'll tell you something, just quickly, I know we all want to go home. When a vendor promotes the Southwest Ranches Community Farmers Market as the Southwest Ranches Farmers Market, they go to the wrong place.
Right.
We hear about it.
Yep.
So that's why my wife was in charge of doing all the promotion with my daughter and reaching out to our over 15,000 members on Instagram. We also reach over about 38,000 members of, I think it's over a dozen Facebook groups that we promote Community Farmers Market, put the link to it, put the red pin or whatever it is that you put on it. So we're very aware of the other people who are wonderful people, by the way. In my experience with them, I have met them, or they have come to the market and asked for certain things. But I hope that answers that, David. But thank you for bringing that up.
Sure.
Yes, sir. That's all I got, guys.
Great. Anything else?
Public comment.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Antonio.
I would just ask the maker of the motion to amend as
we've discussed.
I so amend with all of the amendments that we discussed.
And we have a second on it. Very good. Do we have any public discussion on this item?
Good evening, George Morris. I'd like to commend Antonio and his wife Audrey. They do an excellent job. I see them out there every single weekend setting up. I see Audrey come out there ahead of time and set up all the flags. I think they do a wonderful job. I've actually had the pleasure of working with them in the past at the carnival. So kudos to you guys for doing an excellent farmers market. One thing I would suggest is I would love to see some sort of discount afforded to the residents of the town of Southwest Ranches. I understand, other people come from Cooper City or other towns, and that's great. And whatever he charges. But there's a lot of people in the town of Southwest Ranches that sell eggs or small arts and crafts that the fee that he charges is a little too high. I mean, perhaps we could come up with some sort of program, even if it's for the first 10 people, I don't know, that could get some sort of discount. The local residents that may have the small crafts or the eggs, or they want to sell a chicken or two. It would be something that would be great for the residents. That's all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, George. Yeah. Any other, Antonio, before you come up, go ahead. Anybody else? Debbie, you want to say something? Or Antonio, before you come up, let all the residents come up, and then maybe you can address any other comments that also come up.
I'm afraid to touch it. So, I wanted to commend Antonio and Audrey. I think they do a fantastic job. I go out there pretty much every weekend. I stop by to get something. I think it was a one-off, the experience David had, because I always see there's always one of them there. I just wanted to share with you, just a couple weekends ago, we did a big recycling education thing. We had some volunteers, high school National Honor Society students who came. We had a tent to kind of educate on recycling, the proper way. We had recycling, composting, and trash. Antonio put a garbage can next to us and a recycle bin next to us. We made these 11 by 17 very colorful card poster that showed what goes in recycling and what is not. We taped it to the front of that blue bin, and I can tell you, everybody that walked up to it, they looked. So I think if we put the proper signage, whether it's a sign like this, people, they looked, they read it, and they were like, does it go here, here? And then it went there. At the end of the day, now, yes, we were policing it, keeping an eye on it, but at the end of the day, that recycle bucket was clean. So we weren't sure that it actually got recycled, so they gave us a big garbage bag. I brought it home and put it in my recycle at home. We also put the compost bucket. We had a 5-gallon compost bucket we gave to produce. He filled the whole thing, and that all got taken to compost. What was I going to say? I would just say, I don't know as far as the compost program. I know I hope that the town looks to or gives the opportunity to Compost for Life, as they were a partner of ours from the very beginning and getting the word out against the grassroots effort to fight against the incinerator. They were out at the farmers market for a couple months where, again, they also included the materials to get the word out that we're fighting against an incinerator, and this is one of the ways to get there. So I'd hope that, I know they had met with Andy, I think, a while back, maybe Russell. I think they've talked to several of you, so just that they get that opportunity. And thanks again. And I know Antonio is good for his word. I know he's pushing to have a compost program, a pilot program out there.
Great, thank you. Yep, please.
Hey, George. So just addressing what, excuse me, I hope this doesn't fall, that what George said. From the beginning, we've had a deep discounted fee for Southwest ranches. This is being recorded, so I don't know if I should say this, but there are some ranches, residents that don't even pay a fee. We just allow them in and just do your thing and follow the rules that we have. But because they are so supportive, and not just supportive at the market, they're supportive outside of the market as well. There's a couple of them that do that we, I guess you look at it as a trade-off. But certainly anyone that identifies himself as a Southwest Ranches resident gets a considerable discount on the fee. So I do want to thank George for bringing that up. And I do also want to let George know, if he doesn't know already, that even though the Choli Group is not directly involved with getting the vendors and all that for the carnival coming up, that I've written to George and Russell and also Rick if they need any help putting it together, especially the initial day. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. We're right there, just give us a shout, just say, come on down. I'm sure they have it well under control, but should they need the help, we are available for that, and George knows that.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Good. All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment closed. All right, I think this was a good, healthy discussion, and we're in good shape. Any other final comments? Seeing none, if we can please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item number 18, please. No, that was 18. 19, please.
19.
Late, getting late.
I'm getting there. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving the town holiday schedule for calendar year 2025 and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item?
Yeah, I just want to mention for the record that there has been a date added to it, the 11th,
Patriots Day.
9/11, Patriot Day. That's not been put on before, so that's
Yeah, it's new.
brand new. So I just want to add that to the record.
Good, thank you.
Russell, when we spoke about this, you were going to do some homework on other municipalities that are celebrating this.
Yeah. We did do a survey of Broward County cities, and of the cities that did respond to us, the results weren't great, but I'm sorry, not Pembroke Pines, Tamarack and Town of Davie have authorized this and have this in place already. I have heard of other cities that are discussing it, but haven't quite approved anything at this point yet. So right now, it's just Tamarack and the Town of Davie.
You have concerns on that?
Free day off. I mean, it's not a national holiday. It's not a state holiday.
Not yet.
It's a day off for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the long-term effects, though, in my umpteen years of being in the business world, I've discovered that you can never do enough for your employees. And it's the little things that add up. And this is really actually a little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it means a lot.
Yeah.
So I think we need to pass it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I support it, and I've been one who's been hesitant in the past, but I support it for the reason Gary just stated, and also, frankly, that day means a lot to me. That was a bad day. That was a bad day, and I think it's worth, obviously these days, a lot of times they turn into barbecues and things like that. But I know for me personally, this is a tough day. Not that I didn't lose anybody in there, but it was a day of reckoning, when I realized the world we really lived in. And so I don't have a problem with it.
100% agree.
Public comment.
Is this going to be on the actual 9/11 or the first Monday of that week?
The actual 9/11.
Yeah, I lost nine people from my graduating class
Yeah.
in 9/11.
Yeah, it reset a lot of things in my mind. All right, any further discussion from the public? Seeing none. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please read the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item 20, please.
Item 20 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving the Town Council meeting schedule for calendar year 2025 and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? I know we've got some items there. Yeah, Russell, I don't know if you want to speak to those for September and.
Yeah, I just wanted to address that we always, in September, we list the dates as tentative because we can't have conflicts. Those are the dates that we typically set our budget hearings, and they can't conflict with Broward County and the school board. But the other consideration is that this year in 2025, it just so happens that September 11th is the Thursday that we would normally have the council. So if we're saying that's a holiday, then we would need to move that council meeting date to either September 4th or the 18th. And obviously, it would still be tentative because if those dates conflict with the Broward County or the school board, we would have to change those dates again. But
So would you propose that we change it knowing that it may change there, or just leave it as it is knowing that it's probably going to change anyway?
I would just change it right now as to, and it's up to council direction if you would want to do it on the 4th or the 18th, or you would prefer a different day altogether, like a Wednesday. I'd seek.
Do we know what the open dates are available to us around those?
Another question I didn't anticipate. Let's see. So in 2025, let's see, Wednesday the 10th, we would have the Zero Waste Broward Task Force. The Parks Board would be the 9th. So if we moved it to the week after, let's say the 18th, we would have the Comp Plan Advisory Board. The Wednesday would be the Fire Advisory Board. Tuesday would be DAB.
It's tough.
It's a tough week. So on the 4th, I didn't check the 4th. The 4th would be wide open.
What day of the week is that?
That's Thursday.
Thursday, so just the
Thursday
week before.
It'd be the first Thursday of the month.
Yeah, Emil.
I just wanted to make sure that the 4th would absolutely conflict with the school, Broward School. There's no question that's going to happen.
So let's leave it. I think we can leave it, and then what we may have to do is shuffle around one of those boards and adjust, or maybe one will be canceled for other reasons, and we can go there.
Yeah, that's fine. But just so you know, right now, the Wednesday, the 3rd, is also wide open. There's nothing scheduled for the 3rd of September. That's
Okay.
Wednesday.
Now, don't we have a earlier meeting, budget meeting before that, the regular meeting?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. There's going to be other meetings. I think whatever day we pick.
I think we need to make it later in the month than earlier in the month.
Let's just, I would say, knowing that it's not going to be permanent, but it already has a star on there as tentative.
Okay, we'll leave it
Let's
that way.
let's just leave it as it is, and as we get closer, we'll make a wise decision on where it needs to go.
Sounds good.
Leave
Okay.
it on the 12th until we have better information.
Yeah, yeah. Well, on the 11th.
11th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. All right. So any public comment on this item? Seeing none, public comment closed. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Kaczynski? Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item number 21.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a year-end budget adjustment for the fiscal year 2023-24 budget and providing for an effective date.
Do I have a motion on this item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Emil, are you?
There's no presentation for it. This is pretty much cleanup that we need to do. per the Florida statutes, we are required within 60 days from the year end to make sure that the budget is, we have a balanced budget. And there are certain entries that are required. This actually addresses that.
Thank you. Yeah, this is something we go through every year, just because things change as the year goes on, and so this balances everything out so that what we spent reflects what's in the budget. And do we have any discussion on this item?
Just a quick question. I understand we had additional revenues come in that were unanticipated. That's what the adjustments were on.
In this specific entry, what we're doing is addressing any shortfalls with those excess revenue. For example, building, some of those transactions actually pass through, and the towns gets benefit of 25%. So when we do have excess covering those expenses, that's a good thing in a way, because that means that the town actually receive the same amount in revenue. Other portions of it, which is the deficit or the transfers that we need to do one fund from another, are being covered through those excess revenue. In this specific case, we're utilizing the surplus that we ended up receiving on interest to cover some of those shortfalls.
Good job on the interest once again.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent.
Thank you.
Once again, we've got an amazing staff.
Yeah,
And-
just so the public knows, we have a surplus of over $1 million
Over $1 million.
due to the efforts of our staff.
Yeah, that's not just money rolling in. That was changes they made to, to produce more
Yeah,
revenue.
so public should know that.
Absolutely.
It's very substantial.
Yes,
Mind
sir.
if I say? For transparency, the surplus on the interest compared to the budget was not, it's not 1 million. We actually recognized 1.1 million in interest earning throughout the year. We budgeted, the excess of versus what we budgeted is over 700,000 versus what we have. And again, it's the benefit of the high year interest, and us, the team, as a team, getting involved in cash management and reallocating and moving funds from different accounts in order to make sure that we maximize those interests, and at the same time, making sure that when we do send those checks out from accounts payable, we tie in line when those checks actually clear in order for us to keep those money into the right bank account.
Very good. Yeah, it's our cash management team is working on that.
Mayor, he's being way too modest. It's really a product of their cash management strategies that really have helped us realize that kind of income.
Yeah.
From interest income, and that doesn't come from the residents. That's just from them.
Yeah.
Being proactive, actively managing that cash and timing things, the payments of that, so that we can realize the highest possible yields from those high yield money market accounts. So again, kudos to Emil and the finance team, Rich, the deputy financial administrator. They've just done an amazing job.
They really have. Really have.
Maybe you guys can run seminars on the weekend. I could use a little financial help on my interest expense.
Yeah, I can attend that.
I had gotten consultations already.
Very good. All right. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Kaczynski, Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Very good. Item number 2, please. 22.
Mayor,
Go back
can I
to it
ask
again.
that we read item 22 and 23 at the same time? These are Scrivener's errors that we have to address, and I wanted to kind of just give one explanation for them.
Great. Thank you, Russell.
Item 22 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, granting a joint deed of conservation easement standard within Broward County to the South Florida Water Management District and Broward County for Frontier Trails Mitigation Area, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. Item 23 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, establishing the Town of Southwest Ranches perpetual maintenance responsibility for the Frontier Trails Conservation Easement, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on these. This is part of what we talked about before. Putting together this whole process is extremely complex. This is just two points are associated with a whole lot more, and then we need to update, some items for, like I said, it's a Scrivener error. Any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, any public discussion on the item? Seeing none, please call the roll on both items.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motions, item 22 and 23 have passed.
Very good. Item number 24 is the approval of minutes, regular meeting from August 22nd, the first budget hearing on September 12th, the regular meeting minutes on September 12th, the second budget hearing on September 26th, the sole purpose meeting for Country Estates expenditure on September 26th, and the sole purpose meeting for the Sunshine Ranches expenditure on September 26th. Do I have a motion on all those items?
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any additions or corrections to any of those minutes?
I understand there's one correction.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yes, there is one correction to the minutes. I believe Councilmember Kaczynski had something that he brought to our attention. I believe we made those corrections already to the set of minutes, so we would entertain a motion to approve. Debbie, if you could just state what meeting that was. I don't recall off the top of my head which meeting it was that had the corrected set.
That was the August 22nd meeting.
Okay, so if we could entertain the motion to include the amended set of minutes for August 22nd, that should suffice.
So moved.
Accepted.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other additions, corrections from the council? Seeing none, any additions, corrections from the public? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski? Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Minutes passed.
Very good.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for
folks.
coming out. Really
Thank you
appreciate it.
again. Thank you for reelecting us.